It is Monday Fun Day. What's going on, guys? Ryan, Feathers Elite Racing Pigeon Network. Hey, it's the Monday night virtual pigeon club. Again, brought to you by Feathers Elite. And yeah, the great debate is going to be on. We're going to start it momentarily. Please, guys, reminder to like, share, and subscribe. Participation is key. Again, we don't edit and cut. We do it live. We do it free. We do it so you guys can participate. No edits, no cuts, none of that. We're the original. Anyways, let's get to our Monday night show. You guys have all been waiting for it, eh? That great debate. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go in three, two. Oh boy, it's Monday Fun Day, guys. Ryan for this Elite Race Pigeon Network. You already heard me say that at the beginning, but again, this show works best if you guys participate. Thank you for spending your Monday night, late Monday night, or Tuesday morning, or maybe it's Monday morning somewhere else. It doesn't matter. We want to thank you guys for tuning in, and again, your comments, your questions, your posts they all help out. We hope you guys enjoy this show tonight. We're going to do some debunking. We're going to put a few things to rest. So let's have a good show. Hopefully, we are on YouTube and hopefully, we are on Facebook. So, Leah, if we are on and you can see the people are on, welcome. And I hope you're having a lovely evening. Are you hungry?
I just had dinner, so I'm good. I had a nice balanced dinner. Had some vegetables, had a little bit of meat, all the things to make a nice, nutritious meal. All the food groups.
I'm
Before we get
starving.
it, before we get into it, if it's your first time joining us, that is right. This is the Monday Night Virtual Pigeon Club, where everybody is welcome. You don't have to fill out a resume, and there are no membership fees required. If you are watching over on YouTube, all we ask is you hit that subscribe button if you want to participate in this evening's chat. And not to worry, guys, it is free. Let's get into the comments here as everybody crawls on. David Tracy in the house says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, friend." Paul Kaiser says, "Hello, everyone. Hello to you." We have Natural Loft 2025 says, "Big hugs from Morocco, brother." Ooh, we love our Moroccan friends. Joe says, "We might need to bring back the great Mills Lane to referee tonight's Barley debate." Come on, guys. It's not going to be that bad. Come on. Lucky Luke says,
Yeah.
"Hello, everyone." And Alvin says, "Good evening." And we have Noel in the house says, "Good night to all." Brian Mansker says, "Hello." And Lucky Luke says, "Is Frank going to on? Is Frank going to
Yep.
on?"
Frank is going to be on. He is on. He's going to be on with us momentarily, but we're not getting into that yet, guys. We're not getting into that. We got some other things that we want to talk about before we get into the great Barley debate. And we're doing this because there's other much more important stuff than Barley, to be honest. Okay. And by the end of the evening, I'm pretty sure you're going to find that one out for yourselves. But yeah, we got other stuff we want to talk about, and we're going to get into that obviously first. Again, climb on, guys. Don't be shy. And remember, when you write your questions, don't make them so long-winded. Keep it bang to the point, and work on your writing to the point. That's hardly when they write and they miss a couple words, eh? You trip over your feet. I know for me, being dyslexic and have HDRD or whatever, I get all screwed up. That comment from Lou would have just sent me into the next world. I know
God.
the pain. Eh? I remember those comments. Those were scary ones
Yes,
for me because I
I
had to
remember.
decipher.
I
Because
I
Lou,
I do remember, guys. Don't forget to vote in tonight's poll. Tonight's club poll obviously has everything to do with Barley. And the question is feeding racing pigeons 75% barley during training and racing season a smart choice? Your options are yes, no, or undecided. If you're watching over on Facebook, you can put 1 for yes, 2 for no, and 3 for undecided. We've got 22 votes so far, Ryan. 22 votes in the poll. We just got started. We haven't even started talking about it yet. We've got 26% of you say yes, it is a smart choice. 43% of you say no, it is not a smart choice. And 30% of you so far are undecided. As we talk about this and we hear Frank's words and we agree or disagree with Frank, we're going to see if this poll changes throughout the broadcast. So we'll check it at the end of the broadcast and see if it's changed or stayed the same. We will see. Lots of peeps in the house here. We've got comments coming in fast. should we just get right into it now? Because I feel like, or do we want to talk about race results and the Sunday and all the things at the end, or do you want to do that at the beginning? Because
Well,
I
I
got
think.
coming in thick and fast here.
Whoa, easy now, guys, eh? Easy. Leah, I told you she would happen, eh? She would happen. It will come. You have to fire up the crowd. No, we're going to get into what's actually really important, our race results. And good race on Sunday. I'm still scratching my head. I cannot believe we got those results on Sunday from the coaching staff, putting the players on the field the way we did. Uh, I was pleasantly shocked on the trapping was abysmal. It was abysmal, but they come. Okay, it's fine. We know where we lost it. It was on us, the loft managers. I'm not there, but Ricky Seven is he conducts the feed, and if you conduct the feed, you conduct the army. Birds came again, no problems. Just the trapping was not to what we've seen the previous few races. And again, it's a very nice thing to see this. You always see perfection. It's good to see imperfection. It's good to see when there's a mistake made. Being a little too heavy-handed on feed, you see it in this result. You see it. A big shout out to Leah. You had the first nominated bird, the 137. She came at the right time to be right with Marcel Kurlemans, the first bird at what was it, 9:10. Doesn't go in. Now, there's no excuses. Bird doesn't go in because we didn't set the bird up right. But bird's right there. And Leah, congratulations. You had picked her.
I did. I
First
did.
first
I did.
first nominated. Good
Yeah.
job.
Well, Leah does know how to pick them. That is right, guys. Our race number 17 that took place yesterday. We were 18th overall. We were the 12th loft, 2 o'clock out of 32 lofts. We won 15 prizes out of the 51 birds we sent. Of course, versus the 335 in the club and the 21,669 total release, giving us a performance of 5.4%. Was it our best performance? No. Was it our worst? I don't know. In the trapping department, I'd say it was pretty bad. I'd say it was pretty bad. I think we all agree it was not the best performance on trapping. However, as Ryan says, we need these every once in a while. It wakes us up a bit. It reminds us of what the hell we're doing. And I do not think the same mistake will be made on Wednesday. Loft manager Richard is raring to go. Otherwise, I mean, they came back. We got on the prize sheet. We got on the first prize sheet, which I didn't even think we were gonna. I was pleasantly surprised at that. So 18th overall, 18th, 29th, 32nd, 49th, 52nd, 53rd, 56th, and so on and so on. So, it wasn't horrendous. However, not our best performance. A big congratulations to Marcel Kuhlemans, of course, the professor, coming first and second on race number 17. Congratulations to him. Bravo. If that doesn't show you determination and not letting anything get you down, not letting anything throw you off, look at that. Guy gets his loft burned down a couple weeks ago, and look at this. First and second on Wednesday. Fantastic job, Ryan. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and he didn't stop the pigeons to put in the breeding loft. Got to finish the season. He's going for the championship. Again, he is a top guy there. It was so nice, and it was nice when he called me. He said, "Come on, man. Come on, you got to get him in. He said, you and me were right together, but what did you do? He said, what did your dad do? And he said, my daughter was watching and we had a big laugh over it. And I said to him, I said, on Wednesday, it's going to hurt. And he said, what's going to hurt? I'm going to say what Ricky's going to do to you on Wednesday. It's going to hurt. So we're going back at it. We're going to be betting beers. Leah, he wants your first nominated, my first nominated, and Ricky's first nominated, and he's going to put his three first nominated, and that's how we're going to play to win four beers. It's a four-beer competition, and Ricky will not be allowed to pick the 146. That bird is off the table.
We're going to talk about the Chase the Ace and all that good stuff at the end of the broadcast. It is wrapped up. Picking your teams is wrapped up. I will let y'all know what we were able to fundraise for Marcel and let you know how you can head on over to our website and check your teams for accuracy before we head to our first race on Wednesday. In the meantime, let me get back to the comments and then we're going to get into it because I know you guys are just dying to get into it. Let's see, what do we have here? Joe says, I'm trying something new. I'm skipping the shoof. I'm having my first Chimay, strong brown ale. Definitely not cheap. Oh boy. Watch, don't knock it on your ass there, Joe.
What
Be
what
careful.
what color? What color's the bottle? You've got the gold one, you've got the red one, the white one, and the blue one. We like the blue one, but she closes like a freight train. You got to really watch. I remember on the Pigeon Boss tour, I think it was the Chimays that put Hendo. He almost threw up at the dinner table with Guy, and he had to excuse himself. He went to had to go lay down, but he did it. He did it so classy. He hung on. He hung on. He's like, guys, I'm gonna have to go now. He was gone.
Barn Dog says, shout out to Ricky's sneaky mix. We have Michael Diaz says, I myself try the McLaughlin barley feeding program, and it works. Okay, we got a pro barley in the house. We have Aloha Milton in the house, and he says, Aloha. Good evening. Aloha to you, friend. Paul Cooper says, good evening, all. Charlie, it's time to shine, Charlie. We've done this for you, bud. Says, good evening, all. Good evening to you, Charlie. Hander Craig says, hello, the barley will be very interesting. Well, we shall see. David Tracy's already voting. He says 2. What was 2 again? 2 is no. Does not believe that barley is the be-all and end-all.
Reminder, guys, before we get into this has nothing to do with two different pigeon men. This has to do with actual facts or pigeons. This is it. Just plain old black and white. I don't care who's tried it. If it works, it does not matter. At the end of the day, you will see if you play it this style, it's going to hurt you in the end. And we will go through these facts. We'll go through the facts, break this down, and let's find out what we got, Lee. I am interested to see. I'm interested.
We shall see. Let me get through the comments here. TL Family Homestead says, anyone who tells me they feed high percentage barley tells me they know nothing about feeding pigeons. Oh, Lou says, calm down, sunshine. I like to poke the bear sometimes. Sherry's undecided. All right. Noel says, you need malt barley straight from the brewery. Jeff says, morning from down under. Okay. So I think, have we got through all the saying? People are saying, oh, well done to Marcel. Josh wants to know, what's the yards per minute difference between 1st and 18th? I will have to go back and look at that. Josh Tribley, we'll look at that after. Okay. Are we ready?
It was, yeah, we were, well, we were 2 minutes off the pace.
Well, if you
That
really
was,
want me
I
to
don't
look,
know.
I'll look here.
I can look it up. I can pull it up.
It's
I'm
not
right
yards.
here.
Well, first of all, it's meters. First was Marcel flying 1467 meters per minute, and we were 18th flying 1408.
Yeah. Gosh. Gosh. And you know the great part was we had Sorrel calling our bird down again.
I know. I know.
Oh well, it can't cry over spilt milk, guys. Hold on. Are we ready to start? I just want to get one more mouthful in.
That is right, guys. Welcome to the Great Barley Debate of 2026. Barley for racers, is it smart feeding or a serious mistake? We are going to play none other than, there he is, guys, your fearless leader, Frank McLaughlin. We are going to
Wait.
play his mastering, what is it called again? Oh, Master Feeding, Master Racing 2026. We're going to get Ryan in the corner where he belongs here. And Ryan is going to react to it. And you guys, put your comments, put your questions. If you want to go over something, you're more than welcome to do so. We're going to play this up until the feeding part here ends. I think he got a little bit about watering, what to give him in the water. At the end, we're not going to talk about that tonight, but we are going to talk about this 75% barley feeding program. So if you guys are ready, hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear it. I will turn it up here so y'all can hear it. If you can't hear it, let me know. Yes, Ryan, go ahead.
I'll put my finger up if I have to say something. And
Well, that means I have to watch you. So you got to say, like, okay, stop or something, okay?
okay.
I'm not always looking at your screen, so.
All right. Well, if you want to, oh yeah, you want to watch. I forgot. Okay, keep watching.
Here we go, guys. Questions, comments, put them in the chat. Let's get into it. Oh, I get the volume off. Turn the volume on.
If I have to say something, and
well, it means I have to watch
you.
so you gotta say, hold on a second. Stop. Hold on. Okay. Hold, please.
Okay.
I gotta mute this one. I got two going. Hold, please, guys. Let's get Ryan back on there. Ryan, explain to everyone how it's gonna work. I got to mute this one here.
Well, we got
There.
Frank. He's going to do his talking, and he's edited this and cut this all up and stuff. He's done it himself. So if it skips parts, we had nothing to do with that. We normally do everything live, but this is what is this here? Master feeding, master racing. First thing wrong. There's more to mastering pigeon racing than master feeding, master racing. Yeah, it's a pretty big thing, but you got to have a lot of other stones turned before that right there. Lots of other stones. So the title, oh, you got to be good at feeding. You got to really know how to feed. And mastering feeding, what does it mean? A master of a diet. Putting a diet together that gives the birds fuel, gives them carbs, gives them fat, keeps everything in them that they need, be able to trap good, be able to loft fly good, exercise good, have the right body weights on them. That's master feeding. So let's see what this is, because look, this title, I'm ready to learn. Back to you, Leah. Send her home.
Let's hope this works this time. Fingers crossed, guys. Oh my god, what is going on? Sorry. There we go.
To master body weight. If you can master the pigeon's body weight, racing becomes very easy. The true champions know how to master the body weight. If you're following some kind of crazy program published online, you have about 0% chance of winning. If you master feeding, you can master racing. This video will be the best video on feeding that you have ever seen. Famous grain dealers have good intentions, but take a look.
Okay, so he says that you got the main thing is we got to master, we gotta control the body weight. Oh, when you start exercising pigeons every day, and they go out and they do an exercise, the birds come into condition, they come into the right weight. So I wonder is he going to give us the proper weight of each pigeon? I've never heard of this. You have to get the body weight right. Have you heard this, Leah?
Well, did he not say that's more important? The body weight's more important than what the feed that you're putting into them?
Yeah, that's what he said. So let's just think about the feed that you put in doesn't matter. He said that. It's the body weight that matters. I'm scratching my head on this one. Okay, so apparently feed does not matter. Okay, guys, feed doesn't matter. It's body weight that matters. Remember this. Okay, let's keep going. Let's learn about body weight. You gotta tell us the weight of these pigeons.
Joshua Tribley says, I've often wondered about putting a small scale in a basket and put individual birds on it before and after races. Okay, here we go.
With this program, you will notice all the feed, changing heavy feed day after day throughout the week, morning to evening, 50% of this, 50% of that. I can guarantee you, if you feed this program, your birds are going to be way too heavy to be competitive, unless everybody else
Stop.
the exact same way.
Whose program's this? He doesn't say whose program it is. It's some shit written down on a piece of paper. Whose program's this? Who says you have to feed all the different feeds? Why can't you feed a certain way, but less of good feed through the week? Start lower and build up with great good feed. Why do you? What is the barley doing here, or what's? I'm not understanding. I'm still a little bit confused here what he's talking about. But let's keep going. Everybody apparently has fat pigeons. Go ahead.
Noel, just to let you know, he says let the video play, discussion later. We're going to play the video. We're going to stop it when Ryan wants to comment, and then we're going to continue to play the video. That's the way this format's going to be. That's the way we have to do it for fair use. So that's how it's going to be. Here we go.
He ships fat pigeons, a fat pigeon is going to win. I'm going to show you how to feed correctly, step by step throughout this. I'm not trying to knock grain dealers. They have good intentions. They produce some nice feed. I fed over the years mainly Laga feed. I love it. I'm using them as an example. But the people putting out the systems are not the actual men racing the pigeons. If you want to race pigeons, you have.
Okay, that's an actual lie. He's officially lying out of his mouth on that one. The professional grain companies, like he uses Versalaga, like Van Robi's, and like Bears, they have breeders that are sponsored, so they get free feed. But to use the free feed, they have to fly with the mixes that are designed by the feed company's nutritionists. They put it all together. So that's 100%. That's a lie. The feed is before it goes on the market is tested in race lofts to get top level and national level results. Agree? Agree.
Okay.
Have to nail body weight. And if you're going to nail body weight, you have to feed the correct grains at the correct times. The bird's body weight is much more important than the actual feed. I spend a lot on how I.
He says it again. The body weight is more important than the grains going in. I'm still not getting this. So does grain give nothing to the birds? We just need the right body weight. He hasn't told me yet what is the correct body weight for pigeons. And a guy like Josh Tribley, who's watching this and made a comment, he's going to waste his time putting a scale in. Frank, what's the body weight? The feed means nothing, but the body weight means everything. What's the body weight? Back to you, Leah.
Feed and how the pigeon's body weight is for the race. I'm going to show you how to get the pigeons perfect for each and every race. And during the race season, nearly every day of the week, pigeons need to eat one time per day. I give a measured feeding. I use the pick pots that the little minerals come in. One pick pot feeds 10 pigeons. I mix a mixture of predominantly barley. You got to get a good quality barley, 75% barley. The other 25% would be, say, a Laga Champion, a Start, or something similar, maybe a 14 to 16% grain mix. That's what the pigeons eat.
So he feeds the pigeons now once a day. And in that once a day, he feeds 75% of that barley. And then he says I go to Versalaga Champion Mix or the Start Mix. The Start Mixer is the breeding mix. Do you use the breeding mix when you're racing, or do you use the Champion Black Label when you're racing? Two different feeds. You also said that the feed companies, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to mix feed. They don't know how to do it. You said that, actually, Frank. Right from your lips, you said it. So why are you using Versalaga's Start, which is their breeder mix, and their Champion Black Label, which is their race mix? Why are you using that in this concoction that you're making? Also, Frank, I have another question. This little pick pot here, the same one you show in your picture, you say that this feeds 10 pigeons once a day. In my knowledge of talking to world champions, and I can name you a list of them, or you can go and watch the 140 loft tours that I've done throughout Belgium, Holland, and Germany, and Denmark, and England, and wherever else I've been. Majority of the guys say pigeons eat between 30 grams and 35 grams a day. Feed them one time, feed them 2 times. I know guys that are national ace pigeon of all Holland feeding the pigeons up to 5 times in a day. Now, we're not going down that road. So this feeds 10 pigeons. Okay. Leah, do you just have Frank, hold on. I just want to show. This is a soup spoon. Okay. You eat soup with. 10 of these go into one of these. How much does one soup spoon weigh? And does anybody know?
So play it.
Make sure we grab the soup spoon. Yeah, just to show you the difference. One soup spoon. I heaped her. $16 grams. So every day, the pigeons get only 16 grams of feed on this method. I promise you, any body weight you have or good fat, you'll strip that right off pretty damn quick. And in about a 7-day period, you'll find you won't be able to go into the loft because your face will be scratched. You're going to rip. You see that face he's got on the screen right now? You're going to have that look. And I promise you on that. So back to you, Leah.
All right, here we go. Let's keep going, and then we're gonna get to the comments here in a minute. We're only 2 minutes through this, so.
Hey, you're giving me a lot of good
You want
points.
to feed once a day. You want to feed during the week. And for short distance racing, you're also feeding this mix the day of shipping. You're not going heavy. If you feed light to heavy, your birds are going to go to the races heavy, especially for races under, say, 5 to 6 hours on the way. For short distance racing, I feed the Barley mix 6 days per week, including the day of shipping. On Saturday is the first day they get the rich feeds. I usually mix Vercel Lager Energy, Vercel Lager Champion, and their Sneaky Mix, which is a small seed mix, predominantly fat seeds. They eat that when they return. The most important meal after a big workout is the first meal. So when they come home from the race, they get to gorge and eat that rich feeds. But that's it.
Stop. So we're going to feed them. We're going to race short races, sprint races. What is that? 4 to 5 hours, which is not sprint racing, but he says 4 to 5 hours for sprint racing. He's going to feed 75% barley and 75 and 25%. And he doesn't even tell you the mix, the other 25. There's a grain mix. Doesn't tell you that. You're going to feed it 6 days a week. And when they come home from the race, he gives them the 3 most important bags to feed. When they come home, do they not need fuel to work all week to do the proper loft flying, to do the proper road training, to build up the good fat, the good energy, the good carbs, the good power to bring them home? And then you're going to load them when they get home after the race? This is a very unusual mix. Back to you, Leah.
Finley says basically he is heavy running the starvation method, and they're desperate to feed to get them home, it sounds like. I would agree with that. Lou says, I think he's meaning that you have to get the body weight right. So, yes, when you train your birds before you start racing, they will get conditioned. Then you need to keep the body right going forward to the races. No, this is a method that he uses throughout the training and racing season, not ahead of it. It's during it, because he's going to get into how he feeds them the day before racing, the day they come home from racing. He's going to get into that.
Okay. This little 10 bird feeder here, you can feed this 10 birds twice a day for 10 birds. They're not starved, Finley. They'll have no energy to fly around the loft. They will not be interested in loft flying. They have no punch power. And with 75% barley, there's 0 fuel, 0 fats, almost 0 in carbs. It's an absolute torture on the pigeons. They can't sustain this kind of mix. Cannot be done. Feeding it 6 days a week, I'm still shaking my head. But let's go back to the original comment The big feed companies don't know what they're mixing. He said it like that. But yet he's got 3 bags. 3 bags he's got. And he says the problem with these 3 bags is, what did he say? Do you remember? He said the people don't know how to feed it. They feed too heavy, the pigeons get too fat. That sounds like a you problem, not knowing how much to feed a pigeon. Sounds like instead of learning how to feed the pigeon correctly, you're going to give him nothing, make him think he's got feed in him that gives him nothing because you don't know how to feed. It's a very lazy way of feeding, and actually, it's not feeding. You're giving the bird nothing to fight for you. There's no incentives here on this. This is beyond starvation.
Finley says, ask yourself on race day for an athlete already fit. What would you fuel him up with? A biscuit or a balanced carb-based meal? Lou says to give a body weight for a bird would be totally incorrect because you have different pigeons' body structures. Some are bigger birds and medium and some small.
Well, yeah, but he's determined. He's told us 3 times now that it does not matter about the feed. It matters about the weight. So if he knows something that we don't know, what's the weight of what's every pigeon? What's the weight? Come on, tell me what the weight is. Because the feed don't matter. In one breath, in one side, the feed don't matter. The next breath, you guys don't know how to feed, so starve them with nothing. And in the next breath, he's feeding Black Label Champion, Sneaky Mix, and their super fat mix. A lot of different shit coming out. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Let's keep listening.
Okay, let's keep going, guys. We'll get back to the comments.
One day.
Mhm.
The next day, they're right back to the 75% barley mix. The races say over 5 to 6 hours in the wing. I will feed the 75% barley mix, 25% champion throughout the week through Thursday. Thursday evening, if the race looks tough on Saturday, I may come in with fat seeds. I may give them a good feeding of fat seeds, which could be the energy of the sneaky mix Thursday night. Then the day of shipping, I have to decide, how's the body weight? If it's perfect, I may just feed the barley mix in one pick pot divided amongst 10 birds. They don't need a ton of feed on the day of shipping because they had the big meal the night before. I also can look, if the race looks really tough and the birds seem a little too lean, I can add more fat seeds the day of shipping. Again, just that one pick pot.
Look, you're going to give them fat the day of shipping. Fat roughly takes just under 72 hours to start kicking in. The fat you give, if you give fatty feeds on Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, they work for Saturday. You're going to give them fat on Friday, the day of shipping. What's it going to do? They're going to haul it home. They're not going to get the benefits from it. They're not going to get the benefits from it until after the race. He said another thing, when his birds come home, he lets them gorge and eat. He lets them gorge and eat. Well, they're starved all week. When they come home from that race, the skin will be nice and black because there's no fat on them to burn, right? Because he didn't give them no fat. He didn't give them really any carbs. He just fed them. He didn't care about what he fed them. He just wants them lean. And he keeps talking about still this body weight. What's the proper weight, Frank? But anyways, when they come home on Saturday and they gorge, as he says, I can promise you on Sunday they won't eat nothing. They won't eat barley. They won't eat nothing because they've been starved all week. So they're not going to eat, Frank. Tell the people what the birds are actually going to do. You don't feed them. You don't even go in and feed them on Sunday. They're not interested. Even birds that I feed fat grains to all week, if I feed them heavy on the day they return, the next day, Sunday, it's almost nothing. It's a little bit of candy mix and gone. They're not interested. They're still digesting all that feed. They're digested it, but they're pushing it through the system. They don't need it. Go ahead.
Top per 10 birds. I'm not letting them gorge themselves on the day of shipping. I'd like them to go to the race with very little feed in their crop. So I have some variations. I could go all barley mix. I could go straight barley if I think the birds are a little heavy. I could go all fat seeds. A lot of it you have to decide due to the race and the way the birds feel. If the body weight is perfect, if those birds are light and buoyant, you want the muscles almost lying flat. You want the birds to feel weightless. If they're feeling like that, Don't worry too much. You're going to have a good race. If they're round and full, they're too heavy.
Stop this. Stop. If you're working birds week in and week out, and you're training them, and you started 8 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 12 weeks out, and they're rolling. They got nice, good, hard, and strong muscles on them. When you're going to the race, yes, you want them light, but you want them light, and you want them that muscle to feel like off the keel, it's just rippling. You want to. They got to feel light like an empty beer can, but they got to have that good feeling. You got to feel the muscles just rolling over the keel. It, you don't want thin, lean pigeons. You want them blown out so they feel like balloons. That's the saying, blown out. They're blown out, but they're very light. They feel nice. They're large, good. They're not heavy. They're light. So this, what he's saying, and you're going to put fat in them the day of shipping. You're checking the weather the day of Thursday. What is it? Thursday of the race. I start looking at the weather all week to prime what I'm going to do. You're not going to put weight on the birds, or you're not going to adjust it. You're not adjusting nothing in a meal. Keep going.
Don't
Barley.
overfeed them for the day on the day of shipping. Feed them the barley mix the day of shipping, even if it looks like it's going to be a little tougher race. You want to kind of cut the weight. A lot of decisions happen Thursday evening into Friday. The rest of the week, to keep it simple, you're feeding 75% barley, good quality barley in the husk. Usually the only day I will feed twice in a day would be the day of shipping, because I'm breaking the feed up. I would give them maybe 3/4 of their ration around 7 a.m. and maybe in 1/4 of what's left around 1 o'clock. Hopefully they'll drink. You don't want them to go to the race with too much grain in the crop, especially if it's an overnight ship like that. The other day, possibly, which they'll be fed twice in a day, is Thursdays. If the race,
Every race is shipped overnight. Oh, we know that, yeah. And for sprint racing, in all honesty, you want no feed in the system. You build Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the last feeding. Friday, they sit, they digest, it's done. Saturday, they go empty. If you don't do that and you do what he did, right? He talked about that little bit of feed. You see, Ricky did it. They don't fire right. They don't trap right. They don't act right. They're a little bit nerve looking. No feeding for sprint racing. Now remember, sprint racing is about 150 miles tops. That's your sprint racing. Once you get past that, it's different, a little bit different. And watching the weather, you watch it all week. Take it away.
looks tough and you're going to feed Thursday evening. So you have decisions to make each week with the feeding. Here is the first part of the feeding video that we've talked about. It's written out. You can stop the video. You can take a look. It gives you some more ideas of what to feed, when to feed. And I'm going to break it down into segments throughout this whole video. But as you can see, there's some decisions to make. But the body weight is most important. If they're round and full, they're too heavy. I don't care if it's 600 miles or 100 miles. The bird should never be round and full for the race. If you apply this feeding, the birds don't need a lot of work. So you have to think about what you do. You have two options. You can feed each day.
The birds do not need a lot of work. Are these not athletes, Frank? Are these not athletes? Has any sport in the world not taken work? All the professional athletes, do they put everyday work in? Twice a day workouts in? Some athletes, Kobe Bryant started working out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he thought if I started doing workouts at 4 o'clock in the morning, I could work out 3 or 4 times in a day. And these athletes don't need any work. No work means rust. They will be rusty and flat like pancakes. But on this system of your feeding, you can't do much work. They won't loft fly very well either. But let's keep listening. No work. This is mind-boggling now. I never seen anybody win that doesn't put any work into it. Go ahead.
Until they leave a few pieces of barley once a day, and they leave a little bit of barley. That's if you like to loft fly. Say you loft fly the birds Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They'll fly on that mix. I personally only train 2 days a week between races. So the birds will fly on a Saturday, they rest Sunday and Monday. They train 30 miles on Tuesday. They train 45, 50 miles on Thursday. That's the most important toss of the week. That just nails them into form. And then they race against on Saturday. And they repeat this process for the short distance races.
Wow.
With the
So they don't do any other work. They just go 30-mile toss and then a 50-mile toss. Nothing else. You lock them up from Saturday. They stay in Sunday and Monday. You work them Tuesday and Thursday, and you got them on this mixture. Where's the these birds have very little condition. The mental condition will be very low, and physical condition won't. They'll be they're burned out because of what they've been eating. They have no energy, so the body will be struggling. If the body is not in super condition, the mind will make mistakes. And his birds being so underdone, they're not going to have the right condition. The skin will be very, very black after the races because they don't have the fat into them, and it's going to suffer on those pigeons. And I think this is why, now this is making sense, why he has to lock them up for so many days, because they don't come back. They don't bounce back. Like they're so underdone. This is what I'm thinking. And I don't know where he's flying this system, but man, this is scary. This is how animal rights come into this. But let's keep going.
widowers, I fly strictly celibate pigeons, and as many of you know, all that motivation stuff is a waste of time. I fly them celibate to the perch. The boys tend to come in a better form if you let them out to exercise. So I would suggest training them Tuesday and Thursday and letting them out to fly maybe Wednesday for 90 minutes, let them bounce all around. But Tuesday evening, if you're measuring the feed, I would give them more feed, maybe let them eat until they leave Barley so they'll actually exercise strong Wednesday.
Okay, so he's saying now he's talking about motivation. The pigeons fly to the perch. Motivation doesn't mean anything. Motivation is a big thing, but the pigeons have to self-motivate themselves. Not motivation where you separate the hens and the cocks and put them together and they look great. We're talking pigeons actually pairing up, doing their own thing, putting in a nest bowl, putting up a teepee, letting them self-motivate at a calm rate. Calm rate. You're going to see much different. You should try that, Frank. I think that's going to help you. And then you're talking about loft flying on this measuring of the feed, and you're going to let them out. I promise you, on this measured feeding, when you let your pigeons out, they're going to go up, they're going to do about 3 turns, and then they're going to start looking for a place to where can we find feed. You hate your pigeons going on the grass? On this measurement of his feeding, they'll be in your yard. You have to watch starving them like this, because if your neighbors have bird feeders, they will be in your neighbor's bird feeders. They will be starved to eat. He locks them out for 90 minutes and let them bounce around. Never heard this. And one other thing, Frank, you've had pigeons long enough. They're not called boys and girls. Cocks and hens. Use the proper terminology. Back to you.
You want to let them out or lock them out for 90 minutes because it takes about an hour for them to start to roll. They'll start to fly better the last 30 minutes over the first 30 minutes. So give them out, put them out.
The first 30.
The hens.
The first 30 minutes, they're going to crawl all over the loft. And then they're going to start going, hey, this guy's not feeding us. Let's go look for something. I never heard this before. Normally, pigeons, they fly good at the beginning of the loft flying. It's at the end of the loft flying they're done. Do you guys remember when we were at Lars's and we were loft flying as cocks? When they went out, boom, they flew quite good. They come down, they go up, they come down, they go up. They never fly better at the end, at the beginning. And again, pigeons that loft fly, they don't loft fly in the same speed as they do in a training toss. So there's no real full conditioning being built. It just bullshit around the loft. Back to you.
2 training tosses a week. They race, they rest, they train twice, and then they race. That's all they need. If you Master the feeding, you get the body weight right. Pigeons need very little work between racing. You can even get away with one training toss a week if the weather's bad because of this type of feeding system. Before we move on to feeding for the long distance, I wanted to talk about rest. For all short distance races from 100 to 300 miles, my pigeons race on a Saturday and they rest Sunday and Monday every week. For longer races, when they say they flew 8 hours, I give them 1 day of rest for every 2 hours in the wing. So if they flew, 8 hours, they get 4 days of rest. They fly 14 hours, 7 days of total rest.
Stop this. Okay. So this guy here is claiming that when he flies 300 miles, he's saying that 300 miles is a short distance. That's a young bird national races. 99% of all the one-off races in the United States are 300 to 350 miles. Okay. That's not a short race. And then he says he's given them for what? Over 8 hours. He gives them for every hour, 2 days off or a day off.
Every 2
So
hours, a day off.
So do all his birds come on the drop in 8 hours or like in 5 hours and it's done? Because on this feeding system, there's no room for an error on this system here at all. The pigeons have no steam. You're not flying no 300 miles on this on 5 days a week or 4 days a week. Barley. Not going to happen. You're not going to have the steam in the end. You're going to be having lots of birds many hours on the wing. Oh, unless you fly where there's no headwinds or crosswinds, it's all easy tailwinds. And even then, because guys, very simple. Pigeons have a bad race. A simple 100-mile, 150-mile race can sometimes go 4 or 5 hours. And that's not the kind of race this feeding's going to handle. When it gets tough, this feeding, they burn out. He's got that look on his face. You see the burnout look? I can see it. Keep going.
They don't leave the loft. They don't go out and bounce around. A lot of people think they have to put them back out the next day to remove lactic acid from the muscle. It's not needed. Let them rest. And if you feed the 75% barley, they won't blow out. They won't get heavy. The biggest problem with feeding heavy and letting pigeons rest, if you fed, say, a Versalaga Champion or Start or any of those breeder mixes or racing mixes, after 2 days, the birds will blow out and get heavy. And you want to avoid that. That's the worst.
Your feeding mixture, buddy. You're saying it. You see? 10 of these go into here. It's only 15 to 16 grams per pigeon. 10. You can feed them champion this, one of these a day. You're underfeeding the birds by at least 20 grams, maybe 15 to 20 grams. You're totally underfeeding every single day you pull this out. 100%. So to use barley to hold the diet, you're not even feeding the right amount of barley. I mean, your birds are completely starved. Guys, put your birds on it and watch what happens. And actually do it. This 10 pigeons once a day. You do it and you see what you come up with. Do it with 25, 50 or 75% barley and 25% good feed. You tell me after, as Lou said, 2 weeks, watch what happens. Let's see how they rip your shoes off. See how good they loft fly. See how good. Nothing. Keep going.
Well, let me just get to some comments here because we're backing up. Finley
Good.
says that the 30 grams a day per bird, once a day, it's how I've always fed. Who do we have here? Perez over on YouTube says, it all has to be according with way less training. Well, we've just heard, right? What his training schedule is. It's minimal. Joe says, I watched several of his videos to be informed for tonight. To be fair, in all his videos, he says, you can't feed like me if you don't train like me. That's important.
Okay. Well, if you don't train, your birds are flat in the brain. Again, is it again? I guess so. It's like one law of racing, equal firsts, right? Is this a sport where you don't put work in and the birds do better? Where is this? You have to put work in. You have to. All the champion lofts that you see, they put work in. They have sometimes 2 or 3 loft managers. Take a look there in China. I'll use Dirk Leekins. The guys that bought his pigeons for $2.5 million. They got 9 loft managers in one loft. What do you guys think they're doing? Watching Frank's video and having some barley and sitting there watching the birds. What does he bounce? What are these? Are these rabbits or pigeons? Pigeons don't bounce, Frank. They fly. Keep going. Bouncing.
V and D Perez says, I do barley about 50% with my race mix, but I do that about 3 days a week. Barley to me is just a tool.
As I said, do it without barley. Learn how to back the feed off, but feed them good feed. See, we all use this as they'll stop eating barley when they don't want to eat no more. Because you got to sit there and feed them long enough and watch what they eat. And watch when birds are starting to say, I don't really want it. When they all don't look at you for attention. You know, when there's a group of kids and you hold up a popsicle and they all go, I want it. That's what you want to see in your pigeons on every fistful. And when they stop starting to respond, you stop the feed. You don't need the shit barley that does nothing. Barley, you don't know how to feed. That's all it is. But we're going to find out what's in barley here at the end. Let's keep going because we've got to learn something here. I'm learning on what not to do right now.
Noel says, Staff and Reed had the barley down to a fine art back the years with a cheap sport mix.
What year are we there? 1970, 1980, right? Okay. In 1982, they had the Summit Series, and the Canadians were playing the Russians, and they were smoking cigarettes on the bench. Okay. Sport evolves. Everything evolves. Okay. 100 years ago, we didn't have microwaves. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is evolving. You got to evolve with the time. They don't do in 100% in Belgium. It's hard to go out and even find a depurative mix at the shops. You don't find it a lot. You don't find a bag of barley just kicking around. You very rarely. You know, you see pallets of good mixes that are for sport, widowhood mixes, race mixes, light sport mix, but you don't see barley. Anyways, keep going.
Thing that can happen.
Oh,
So they come home from the race, they replenish that one day, and then they go on the barley mix. They never blow out. My pigeons never get big and round and heavy. It's tough to get them back from that. As you see, you can stop the video and
stop. He's full of shit. When they come home from the race, they're they're hungry and they're out of gas. They're going to eat like pigs because there's no more barley in front of them. They're going to eat good. They're going to eat all the good feed. You get some peanuts, hemp seed, whatever you got in there. They're going to eat that up full. And the next morning, they're going to blow out again. 100% they're going to blow out. And they will not go in the morning. They will not want to eat your barley mix that you're giving them because they're still digesting from the night before. So they're not eating correctly on the Sunday. If you're being honest and letting them gorge when they come home.
Keep going.
really look at the second part of the program. It really breaks it down. You don't have to worry about motivation. You really have to worry about feeding and rest. And your birds will do spectacular. Motivation is more so for you than the pigeon. Master feeding, keep them healthy, and you'll be amazed at the result. During the race season and when they return from the race, and usually I give fresh minerals on Saturday and then again on Tuesday. I leave the minerals and grits in front of the birds at all times, so that I don't replenish them. I don't want them loading up on minerals towards the race. There tends to be a lot of salt. I don't want them to dehydrate, but they need the minerals. The grains are depleted. I have the pick pots, the brown mineral blocks, the all-in-one minerals, whether it's Debate or all-in-one for Vizela Lager, magnesium block, and so on. I've done videos on my mineral system, but the minerals are so very, very important.
For a guy that's watching the weight and everything, and he's so bang on, why aren't you giving him fresh grit and minerals every day? For your measuring, how much does a pigeon eat per day in grits and minerals? Why don't you give them fresh every day? Because pigeons like it fresh every day. I know it sounds like the pigeons need a lot of rest. Are you lazy? You need rest too in between the non-work that you're doing with these pigeons? You can't give them fresh grits and minerals every day? I'm just wondering. Pigeons love fresh. especially grits and minerals? Do you use the 20-liter drinkers or do you give them fresh water every day? Oh, a lot of work here. Keep going. Guys, to win like this is no work. This is unbelievable. Keep going. I'm having fun.
Important for recovery and to replenish what's no longer in the soils. The grains are depleted of all the minerals. They can get their vitamins and what they need from the feed, but they can't get the minerals they need. So concentrate on making sure the birds have plenty of minerals during the race season. Feeding for long distance a little bit different. They still eat predominantly the barley mix, 75% barley, but they're on a 2-week program. They race the long distance race. And before a bird can even race a long distance race, you want to make sure it's flown 6 to 7 hours, maybe 2 weeks before. Now you know the bird can fly 10, 12, 14 hours. But normally it's best if they fly 6 to 7 hours, 2 weeks before a long distance flight. My pigeons.
Yeah. If you think you're going to go take them to 10, 12, 14 hours on barley, again, you're talking a lot of barley. Pigeons fly on fats, my friend. Fat. They need fat. What are you afraid to give them fat for? What's the problem? And to put them that many hours on the wing, they need a little bit more than 6 hours 2 weeks before, because you do nothing in between the week. I would say those pigeons before a 9 to 12, 14-hour race in hot conditions, maybe with some headwinds, I'd probably want to make sure those birds have been out anywhere from 8 to 10 hours already, close to that on the wing. Yeah, a week or two out before, for sure. But this barley, again, you're sticking to barley. What? Why? What's in it? Why don't you give them fuel? They need fuel. They need fat. You can't put it on for a 600-mile race in 2 days. Let's keep listening.
They fly the long distance flight. They come home to all the minerals and grits and the rich feeds. I use Energy from Vercel Lager, Champion, the Sticky Mix, which is all small seeds. They eat this on the Saturday because they're home late in the afternoon and all day Sunday. On Monday, they go back to the barley mix, 75% barley, and then they rest. Usually about 9 days. They're on a 2-week program. So they'll stay in the loft until the following Tuesday. On Tuesday, I take them on a 30-mile tour.
They've been in the loft for how many days?
9.
No. Come on. Nobody's doing this. Stop this. Who are you flying against in 500-mile racing that's doing this? I mean, we
9.
look at the Milovich, the one Perpignan. The bird was out flying. It came home at 5 o'clock in the morning. He had it out that afternoon in a loft flight with the other birds. Come on.
9 days. Wow, that's quite
9 days.
I
What
have
happens to the
I haven't
molt?
I haven't had 9 days off, and God, I don't know how long. Anyway, let's keep going.
9 days.
Usually they can fly that in about 35 minutes on the barley.
So wait, hold on. After 9 days, he takes them the first time out to 30 miles, and they do it in 35 minutes. You've shut them down. You put them in complete shutdown mode. You know, you don't speak pigeon, Frank. You can't say, hey, guys, in 9 days, we're going to 30 miles. Once you shut pigeons down like this, what do they start to do? They want to molt. So you put all this time building condition on. Now you're giving them a rest for how long? 9 days? What are these pigeons? Are they that burnt from the barley that they can't rejuvenate themselves and go back out the next day, even for a loft fly? Hey, give them a loft fly for 2 or 3 days, and then bang, take them 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. What's wrong with these pigeons? Is there something wrong?
They're
Oh, you don't
they're,
want to don't want to do work.
they're
Nobody wants to
malnourished.
work.
They're malnourished. That's why they can't recover. It takes them 9
Well,
days to recover.
what? Wait a minute. He should also talk about what he's eating, because maybe he's not getting the right stuff, because it seems like he's talking a lot of rest. Keep going.
I bring in the fat seeds, usually Wednesday evening. Barley mix in the morning, all the fat seeds they can eat Wednesday evening. Thursday, they go on about a 45-mile training toss. They come home, again, loaded with the fat seeds. And I give them everything. Champion, Energy, Seeking Mix. Let them eat whatever they want. They know what they need. So they eat 2 days of fat seeds. The Friday, they're on the truck. Whatever they're eating on the truck, they're going to eat very light. And then Saturday, they race. It's a 2-week program. So they race on a Saturday, they eat for 2 days, they're on the Barley mix for like 9 days, they do a training toss, a day of rest, another training toss, 2 days of heavy feed, and then back to the long distance race. So in a 2-week period, 2 flights. They fly on the Tuesday and Thursday of the following week that they just flew the long distance race. That's all they need. They need the rest. They need the recovery. Now, if you were feeding the heavy mix like we saw on the schedule earlier in the video, all that rich stuff, the birds will blow out and be so heavy you'll never get them right. You'll have to be working them and exercising them throughout the period of time when they should be resting.
Oh, wait a minute. So instead of feeding them properly and giving them the fuel, and actually, sir, by training them makes them quicker in the mind, better condition. It's actually better to work the pigeons. Or we can just do this your way, starve them, feed them barley, lock them up now for 9 days, so they're as flat as pancakes. When you take them, you get an absolute Hail Mary result. I'm pretty sure of this, but you're saying this is really working. I don't know who you're competing against. And again, on the Wednesday in the morning, you're still with this barley shit. But in the afternoon, you're giving them fat. You're worried about the birds putting too much fat on. There's good fat. We're not saying lock them up for 9 days and feed them pure fat. Why can't you law fly them, feed them the better feed, exercise them, and give them the better feed? Get them rounder, get more power on them. You're trying to tell all these people don't know how to feed? I think the problem is you don't know how to feed. And you're using this as a cover up, and you're trying to, instead of teach people how to feed, because you don't know, you're feeding this shit. God, that's why you look the way you are. It's malnutrition, man. Feed them, give them gas.
So for the long distance races, 2-week program, 2 days of rich feeds, ship them, and the whole process starts again. My long distance birds will fly 4 long distance races. They'll fly 400, 500, 500, and 600, 2 weeks apart between each long distance race. If you like my videos, please subscribe.
Okay.
I like that. Leave that right there. You see that? That says it all, eh? God, if you guys watch this shit and believe that it's bad. All right, let's get to the points now.
Let's get to the comments here. Let's get to the comments. Okay.
Need a drink.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. All right. Joshua Tribbley says, I don't know if I already read this. The dominant birds will pick around the barley and eat what they want anyways.
They're starving. They're starving on his 70. They're starving on this. You can't feed 10 pigeons this once a day. You can't do it. I don't care if it's full of peanuts. You can't do it.
Yes, Chris Bonney says, Joshua, isn't that why you should only feed little bits at a time? So the birds have to eat everything before they get any more. That's right.
I can see in his video he has a feeder, so he doesn't know how to feed pigeons. When you know how to feed pigeons, you'll feed on the floor. You feed it real good, slow and steady. And yes, if you dump this out, okay, of corn and safflower. Let's say it was full of corn and safflower, 50-50. The pigeons that like the safflower, they will eat all the safflower, or they will eat all the corn. They go around it. So when you put this shit in here with 75% barley and 25% good stuff, the pigeons that know what they want, they go after the good stuff. And there's pigeons that are eating 100% barley. But hey, does not matter, guys. What matters? It's the weight of the pigeon, which he still never told us what the weight of the pigeon is. He doesn't know what the weight of the pigeon is.
Michael Diaz says 75% barley and 25% together is about 1 ounce per bird once a day.
No. Sorry. Listen to what he's saying. He feeds that for 10 pigeons. I did the measurement. 10 of these soup spoons, heaping soup spoons, go into this. Okay? One soup spoon, play the video, is between 15 and 16 grams, depending on how much you can get on that heaping spoon, how good your balance is. Okay? Pigeons need between 30 and 35 grams of feed, racing pigeons, to do the work for you. And don't take it from me. Take it from national champions like Chris Clarebott, Willie Daniels, Guy Vandenauer, Dirk Lee. Watch the videos of what they'll tell you. The rough ratio, 30 to 35 grams a day, not 15 to 16 per pigeon. And I can't wait to find out what is so magical in barley, Leah. I want to know what's in it. Got to be the best food that we should feed. I'm going to start eating it here momentarily. Hurry up.
Michael Diaz says, it works for me. I don't mean it works for everyone. Remember, is it working for your pigeons? It's working for you. But have you asked the pigeons, is it working for them being half starved? Having to put out 100% effort on a 75% oatmeal diet?
Hey, look how it did there in Poland at Auschwitz. They starved those men that they took to the camps to make them do work. They starved them to nothing. And then when they were no good, they got rid of them. Right? They starved them. They worked hard, eh? They had to work hard, and then they worked till they couldn't work no more. And again, it works. It works. Who? Who are you flying against? What's the numbers? And if everyone's feeding like this, it's very easy to beat these people. Feeding this style with no road training, with not proper diet and nutrition, very easy.
Joe was just saying, he was talking to Finley and said, because Finley, I believe, is in agreement with us, says, I understand what you're saying, but tonight's purpose, I think it depends on how you train. I believe Frank's method would not work if you train hard like Ryan or Ricky. The birds will fall apart.
My question is, do people want to go out and do what? If you really want to do well in races, it's quite simple. Do the work, feed correctly, learn how to feed, and give them fuel. You can feed heavy feed, fatty feed, but you feed less feed. Less feed. You don't have to use barley. What is in barley? Is barley a great? I'm trying to figure out why in all the top sport mixes for racing, they don't have a 75% barley bag. Read what you got to read.
What is barley, guys? Barley is a cereal grain. It is not a complete diet. It has carbohydrates. It provides basic energy. It's low fat. It's less concentrated fuel. And it's limited variety. It cannot balance a diet alone. It is a
Oh,
cereal grain. They eat
oh,
it and they will feel full, but they're not being filled with the proper bits and pieces. It makes you feel full. You know, like when you go for dinner and they give you a big basket of bread and you fill up on the bread and God, you feel full, but when your nice balanced meal comes out, you can't eat anymore because you've filled up on crap.
yeah, and then 2 hours later, you're hungry again.
You're hungry again. Okay, let's
Oh.
get back here. Finley says he doesn't understand digestive period or basic nutrition. There's no time to put any fat on the liver. This is what we're saying. You're just doing it right ahead of. You're giving them the proper stuff right ahead of the race. But what about it? Has to build up over time. Like you can't just do that. You can't starve them 4 out of the 2 day 5. You know what I'm saying? Like it just does not make any sense.
The first argument is this doesn't feed 10 pigeons a day. This doesn't feed 10 pigeons a day. If you were feeding just straight barley, you need 2 of these a day for 10 pigeons, Mr. Frank. And they won't be overweight because you got it measured to the finest little art. And can I ask you, when you're doing your Mickey Mouse measuring here and you hit mega headwinds or mega heat or you have a crap day, how do they come? When you got them cut with no fat on the body, like Finley says, no carbs in them, how you got reserve in the tank? Because because you don't train them either. So the birds, their brains are flat too. Everything seems to be very flat here because you're worried about rest. You're so rested. I don't think this is bad. This is the worst I've ever heard.
Robert Daughtry says body weight takes years of experience, in my opinion.
Hey, this isn't called body weight, Robert. Go feed your pigeons, 10 pigeons, one of these a day. I don't give a shit what you want to give them. Okay? Feed them one a day, 10 pigeons. And give me 2, 3 weeks. Tell me how they are. Tell me how your shoes are. Your laces, there won't be left on it, eh?
Michael Diaz says he doesn't road train as much. So it's
I don't
okay to
even know.
keep him. It's okay to keep him starving because he doesn't road train as much, man.
The answer, you're saying the same shit. You don't know how to feed. He does not know how to feed. Do any professional athletes in the world eat like this and train like this? No. But I mean, if you want the lazy way, go ahead and try it. But if you're playing against guys that are serious, you're playing against the Finley. It's done. It's over.
Well,
You'll be cooked quick. You'll be cooked quick. It'll be 100% cooked quick because you won't have the reserve in the tank. And training hard, I don't know. Training hard. What's training hard? 20 miles a day? Is that training hard? Exercise. Loft flying once a day and a 20-mile toss? That's giving them some exercise. Aren't they supposed to be in condition to go to the races? I mean, what he doesn't talk about before the race season. What is he doing then? Does he even train them then, or are they just naturally talented?
Finley says so badly fed birds with not much energy and little road training, and this is a method people follow. Unfortunately,
And
Finley, yes.
and remember, hey guys, sometimes when you're real hungry, you missed your breakfast and you missed lunch, you got caught out at work all day, and you come home and you're a little bit snappy, that little you're
Angry.
hangry,
Hangry.
right? You do too many days of that, you get real bitchy, don't you? And then all of a sudden, you don't care no more. You don't want to come no more. You're not interested in running home. No, you don't. Pigeons are the same way. You only burn it so hard and then they're cooked. And feeding this way, I love to see. Let him bring the pigeons on the show on his little feeding method, and let's see the nice pink skin. Let's see it after the races. They're so black, they're as black as my shirt. And don't let them out to remove the lactic acid. No, professional athletes after games will get on the bike. They ride a bike to finish their conditioning, to keep the blood flow going, stretching, doing the proper stuff. We wouldn't let them out. Hell, they walk a horse after a race. Why don't they just stick them in the barn, close the door, and say, see you next week? But I mean, it's very simple, eh? Feed this shit, lock them up for 9 days. He don't know how to feed. He don't even know what he's doing. But I mean, again, who is this guy and where has he ever raced of any
Well,
significance?
Michael Diaz says Frank is a tough flyer and wins a lot.
Where? Where? I'm trying to figure out where.
And this person says, main thing, it works. Frank is not the only one doing that, man. Well, so there's a lot undernourished, underfed racing pigeons out there. That does not make me feel
I-
better.
I'm not against it. Go ahead and do it. But when you get a guy that's giving the nutrition and that's putting the work in, bye-bye. You'll be buried. You'll be finished. You'll be put to rest. It'll happen. And you won't go bang, 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 bang in the races. Because when it gets tough on that mix, see you later. Now, maybe this tailwind stuff in Florida, is that where he flies in Florida? Maybe that, I don't know. It can't fly like this in a regular course. There's no way. They won't have no steam. I'm not even going to argue about this anymore. Let's move on to the next point. And you're not going to change me.
Michael Diaz says, I mean, no disrespect, Finley. No, we're just having a conversation. We're just having a conversation and we're talking it out. And points on either side is totally fine. We're all friends here. Michael Diaz says, I mean, no disrespect, Finley. It works for me. How can't you know if you haven't tried it? And
That's common
uh,
sense.
and yeah, because Finley says, I understand pigeons and nutrition. No bird on this method is beating mine. No disrespect. It's night and day of peak performance racing. I believe
We got
that 100%.
and again at the beginning of this thing, he tells everybody that the feed companies don't know what they're doing, but he knows. But then he's using. And actually, there's one thing I do agree with this guy. The three feeds he is using, the Black Label, I'm fine with it. It's good mix. The Top Energy that's the fat. I'm great with that. And the Sneaky Mix, I'm good with that. The rest of that shit, get rid of it and learn how to feed pigeons. And tell these people that are listening to you because you can up their game. You can make them better. You can make yourself better. Nutrition is key. And I think Finley will agree. Just try it, people. Learn how to feed pigeons. Give them what they need. Do you grow your kids on barley? Your kids are going to go to a sporting event. Do you give them the right shit? What do you give them? It's the same.
Let's just talk about what barley does not do. Barley is not a complete diet. Complete a diet. One grain cannot provide balanced variety. It cannot provide rich fat. Barley is not an oil-rich energy feed. It cannot prove fitness. Being lighter does not mean race ready. It cannot ensure recovery. Athletes still need the fuel and quality protein. All right, what were you talking about the feather quality? What will
Okay.
happen? Feather quality. Picture camera that drives me
So,
nuts.
so you have to remember, put barley in your hand and squeeze it. There's no oil in it. It tells you there's no fat in it. There's no nothing. Remember, guys, pigeons need fat. As Finley said, fat for the liver. It needs a coating of fat through them. They burn the fat. We're going to talk about what pigeons burn. We have that, right, Leah?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk about what they burn. Okay. They burn fat. They burn carbs at the start. Then they go into the fat. When the fat is gone, they burn off the body. And that's when the body becomes black because they've used everything up and they're burning their own body. Okay. By this feeding method, the feathers will scream for oily feed. The feathers are screaming because they need oil to withstand Mother Nature. Remember, wild pigeons. The feather's always good on a wild pigeon. They're out picking, 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 picking. They find the little oily seeds, the little plant seeds, the little grass seeds. They find what they need. They eat it. The feathers are like oil. But giving them this barley, there's nothing into it. The feather gets drier and drier. You all love Mike Gannis. What do they say? What do top pigeon men say? Super pigeons have super feather quality. You have to give them the fuel to keep producing that super quality. Once you take it away by giving them this shit, you produce no top feather quality. So now the birds are screaming to put better feather on, right? The feathers need oil, the body needs fat, and you giving them for 10 pigeons one of these. You know what? Wherever these guys are racing, let me know. It's not a problem. I take bottom of the barrel pigeons on good nutrition and good training. Waxed. Done. Finished.
Stephen Collins says when he starts racing in Florida, he will find it difficult feeding like that. Michael says, Brian, it's actually Ryan. Ryan, what works for some don't work for all. Not allowed the champions do the same program. Ryan, in 140 loft tours you've done in the last 9 years, and how many top racers in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Ireland, in Scotland, in England, in Italy, in Denmark? Where else have you been? Did I miss any?
They feed the best grains. They feed good grains, and majority of them, they know exactly what they're feeding. They know how to feed. This is it. I've never heard one tour where a guy says, "Yeah, I'm on 75% barley," and I just kick ass. I blow everybody out of the water. I don't need to know any. All again is just look at professional athletes. I don't need to know any pigeon guys. Look at professional athletes. Look at their dietitians. Look at what they're doing. I know there's many ways to win, and if you're playing against 4 or 5 guys, and they all don't give a shit, and it's just blah, 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 okay, this might work. But when you get really down to it, if you're really competitive, you want to give every edge, right? Just like you go out and buy those expensive pigeons, give them the proper nutrition, put them on a proper system. Does not make sense? What are we doing here again with this? This
The Long
man,
Way 365 says, sounds like a personal attack. If you think speaking on behalf of the pigeon and promoting proper nutrition of racing pigeons is a personal attack on Frank McLaughlin, then I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's not about the man, it's about the birds. It's about the pigeons that go day after day and do the work, and do the training, and go to the races, and get judged at the end of it. And then you all look at it and say, well, that's a bag of crap. Let's knock its head off. Are you giving it the proper nutrition? Are you giving it the proper training? Are you doing all the things? We're speaking on behalf of the birds, not on behalf of the man. If you
and
want
by the way,
a
and,
lazy
and by
route,
the
I guess Frank McLaughlin's is a great lazy route to take. Half starve them, barely train them, and see how they do. We
and
don't do it. We don't do it that way.
I like his 3 bags of feed he uses. I'm not. I'm not. This isn't about Frank, anyways. If this is how he does it, and again, as Stephen Collins said, let's see when he goes and plays against another level, right? As you move up in the levels, you learn things too. I'm constantly learning. Playing in Belgium, you learn things. Oh, this works. That works. Guys are syringing the birds with water every week. Different things that you learn to go up the levels. And I don't know how much that.
Michael Diaz says,
Does-
Finley, do you know who Frank is? He's a well-known flyer in America. Let's just add that. He is a well-known flyer in America. Let me also add that the world is a really big place, guys. And there's a lot outside of America and Canada, especially when it comes to pigeon racing. Canada and America is not the be all and end all of pigeon racing. There's a really big world out there. And sometimes you just got to take the blinders off and get out of your little box and look outside. Because there are excellent flyers. You know what I mean? Like he's saying, well, asking Finley, do you know who Frank is? Probably not,
Well,
Michael
who
Diaz.
is he?
America
Who
is
is he?
not big in the racing pigeon on a global scale, so he probably doesn't know who he is.
Who is he? I don't know who he is on this. I don't know. Again, who are you beating? Who is he beating? That's the question.
Let me get back to what he
And
said.
it's
He's a
in
well-known
his.
flyer. I bet he can't beat your birds easily, and don't mean no disrespect, but people that tick that the know it all are the ones that don't know. Oh, the ones that think that they know it all. Do you know it all, Brian?
I'm learning big time I came on here to learn about nutrition. I want to see how to do this, right? And nothing's telling me that this is going to work. From the points that you've posted up on the screen of what Barley gives them, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. It can't work. You're working against yourself. You're starving. You're not even. You're starving the pigeon. Not even if his measurement is 100% wrong, according to the professionals. His measurement is wrong, and the quality of the grain is wrong. So what are we doing? I don't know who he's playing against. You say he's a good flyer. Yeah, there's a guy, some guy. He does podcasts. He's interviewing guys. He has 5 members in his club and combine, and he brags about how good he's flying. Who are you playing against?
Getting back to barley, did you guys know that it ranks last for usable energy? Out of all the grains, you see them there: corn, wheat, sorghum. Barley ranks last for usable energy. You see corn there is 3.70% or 70%. Barley is 2.13%. What do racing pigeons need?
Carbs.
Energy. Don't they need energy? I thought they needed
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. Fat, carbs, energy. They need
Yeah.
gasoline, man. Give them the shit to go.
Stephen Collins says it would be like feeding a greyhound dry food only instead of meat and vitamins with dry food. Exactly.
Isn't it funny? A Greyhound guy saying the same thing. Professional athletes, what are they eating? Why does Ronaldo, why does LeBron James have professional nutritionists? Now, we all can't afford those, right? Van Roheij and Bertolaga, they know that. So they bought guys in to design the feed and professional lofts to use the feed to do it. But because Canadians, Americans, people all over, they don't know how to feed, like Frank, and just dumps the feed and his birds go fat. Well, I can tell he don't know how to feed. He's still feeding in the feeder. You can see it. I know. Keep going.
Well, Michael Diaz says the funny thing, Brian, he flyers long distance. I do not know. Getting back to what do racing pigeons need? They need carbohydrates, fuel for active flying. They need fats, energy for sustained flight. They need protein for muscle repair and recovery. And they need, yes, vitamins and minerals to support health and performance. A balanced diet of all those things. That's what they need.
Why do you have to have a pigeon on a diet when he's in race season? I don't understand that either.
Billy says, I know he raced in the Boston Concourse, no disrespect. It's not hard competition. And what was the other members feeding? Probably the same system. Steven says,
Listen,
go ahead.
listen. I was in. We were in New Jersey there. I seen some stuff. I seen. I shake my head. I shake my head at what people are doing. I see the odd time what people feeding at. I shake my head. It's unbelievable. The pigeons, the people. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing it for cheapness, laziness. I don't know. And you talk about they buy these thoroughbred pigeons, and yet they skimp on the training and they skimp on the feed. And
And
then
then
they're
they
going to
blame,
do it.
they
They're going to
blame.
blame the pigeon when they do it on this. Hey, take this to Dirk Vandenbalk and give it to him. He's going to look at you and he just going to quietly say, I got Chinese people coming in a half hour. I got to go.
Stephen Collins says, when I started flying, I only used a handful of barley with the mixture so I didn't overfeed. They leave the barley, that was it, no more feed. Okay, using it as, I mean, I get that when you just start feeding. I get that.
It's
But
a great break. It's a great break to use. It is. If you don't know how to feed, it's a great break. But take your time and feed them. Sit there and feed the pigeons. And let the pigeons look into your eyes when you're feeding. Slow down. I say, make a drink, take a beer, take 2 beers, take 3 beers, and sit there and drink slowly and feed the pigeons. Take a coffee, whatever you want. Slow down. Slow. The slower you feed, the more you will learn on how to feed pigeons correctly.
let's get back here and say, what does a pigeon burn? At the takeoff, it burns carbohydrates, help power early effort. On the longer flight, the fat becomes a major fuel source. Underfueled, the muscles breakdown may increase. Working pigeons need enough balanced fuel. So this says a longer flight or a tougher flight, the fat becomes a major fuel source. Is that not what you're saying?
That's all I'm saying. That's all. That's all that I'm saying. You need carbs and you need fat. And if you can build the fat and the carbs all week long, you don't need the barley. Yes, you're going to have to learn how to feed them and not overfeed them and make sure you're exercising them. But when you go to battle, you're going to have some power. If the birds make a mistake and have a bad race, which it happens every year, you will have pigeons that will be able to make it back. On this system, they don't come back.
Finley says that he races national level in the UK up to 550 miles. I understand preparing birds for distance and across seas and in headwinds. Barley, they're dead. And
I'm going to put pigeon racing between America and the UK. Okay, here's the UK. There it is. You see America down here in pigeon racing, knowledge of racing, 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 racing. Okay, it's not America's fault. They're just not there. It's the same thing in the World Cup. America's not there. It's not driven into them. It's not knocking Americans, Canadians, not knocking. No, just a different level, different. It's different. Finley will agree. What Staffan did in 1970 or 80, it wouldn't work today. You got to evolve. Everything's evolving. That's why I still say to people, what are you into all these old pigeons for? Nobody's going down the road racing old 1969 Mach 1s, Mustangs against brand new Mustangs. The brand new Mustangs blow them out of the water in handling and everything. It's the same with the feed. It's the same. Everything evolves, man. That's why professional athletes these days they train all year long. They don't stop. Why don't they stop? They did in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. They took 3 months off a year, 4 months off a year. Why did they stop doing that now? It's all common sense. It's right there. Just look at it. And this method, this is from 1970. It works with old school pigeons. Use it. I don't know. Backwards.
back on the training, true, they go dead in the brain if you don't train. We were in lockdown for 6 days. First day back, and they were circling for 4 minutes and slow at leaving the trailer the next day. Bang, straight home.
But he locks the birds up for 2-3 days. Some birds get locked up for 9 days. It's just backwards. It seems very lazy. It almost actually, you know what? It sounds too good to be true. And when something is too good to be true, it normally is. My system, or the way any professional athlete that you see out there that's made it, they trained for hours. They got rid of their personal life, and all they did was eat, sleep, shit, the sport they were playing. And that's why they're on the TV. That's why you go to pay them to see them play, because they're different. They're built a little different way. They didn't say, "Oh, I go once a week to the soccer field or to the baseball diamond, and I'm in the big leagues now." You ever heard that? No, you
Noel
won't.
says, Ryan Barley, once again, must be malt straight from the brewery, otherwise it's no good. Finley says malted barley was very popular in the UK years ago. What made people change, the guys who started buying sport mixes, was beating everyone. It was self-advertising results-based progress.
Hold on. Finley didn't say that the malt barley wasn't winning at the time. Everyone was doing it. Then different guys found the sport mixes and they evolved. And what happened to the guys feeding the barley?
Noel says he's continually
Oh.
contradicting himself, Ryan. He uses Versalaga. It's full of barley anyway. Why does he need more barley? Haha, worst system I've ever heard.
Well, he says at the beginning that the feed companies don't know what they're doing. But yet his three main bags are the heaviest, the biggest dollar mixes. Again, talk this way, nothing straight. Feed this, feed that, doesn't know his measurements, and no training. No training. Very lazy.
Limited
Lazy
training,
man.
very limited training. A
Yeah.
lot of resting. He said that the birds need a lot of rest. The
He
birds need
did
a lot.
look tired in that video. He had that tired look
No,
like
but don't be silly. The birds
no.
need a lot of rest. Do the birds in the wild they need a lot of rest? Like, they're out there 7 days a week, hustling, working, getting feed, taking care of the family, doing the things that they do. These birds, they need a lot of rest.
Hey,
For
always remember, Leah, the legs feed the wolves. If the wolves don't run, the wolves don't eat.
Lou says, anybody know how he does in races feeding like this? Some people said he's done very well, but where though? In the area in which he flies, which who knows? I don't know what kind of competition that is. Andrew says, "How can this guy win anything?" Finley says he won.
Wait,
No, Finley says he won loads in Boston, USA, but I think he was up against people doing the same thing. There's no real competition by the sounds of it.
again, it's who you're playing against. If we put a 15-year-old boy against 8-year-old boy, there's a big difference. It's who's your competition, and that's no disrespect to the people in Boston. I know that system here in Southern Ontario and the Up North Combine. You ain't going to beat Joe Ferreira. You're not going to beat Oscar DeVries. You're not going to beat those guys on that system. On that, you get crushed. You get buried. But again, I don't know who's in Boston. I'm not interested in this. I just know the nutritional part, and this is not an attack on Frank. The nutrition for the pigeons is not there, so it makes it very very hard when you're working against yourself because you're lazy to know how to feed.
Michael Diaz says, "Please, can someone check his race results?" Well, as we already said, right? It just depends who he's competing against. Okay, first of all, Michael Diaz, his name is Ryan, Ryan, not Brian. What happened to you guys last Sunday? What happened to us on Sunday? Was it because they were
Yeah.
fat? Was it because they were fat?
Oh no. Well, I overfed them. Not me. I wasn't there. They were overfed. 100%. He fed them on. He didn't listen. He fed them Saturday morning. Quarter. No quarters. Nothing gets fed on Saturday. But he don't listen. So if he don't listen, I can't control the army, right? I can't control it from here. All right. Look at the other 2 weeks. We can point out this one. Look at the 2 weeks prior with no feeding. Oh, but through the week, heavy mix, heavy mix, heavy mix, heavy mix. But not measured, fed slowly. He likes to give a little bit of feed on the Saturday training. And for that race, Keith ran against those players, you cannot do it. Cannot be done, or you will get exactly what you see on that screen. We were 18th, and we were with the winning bird, and we were still 18th. So yes, point it out to me. I take it no problem, my friend. I can tell you exactly what I did wrong, and I can tell you exactly how I'm going to fix it, and it'll get adjusted. And we go from there.
But it wasn't because they're fat, overweight pigeons.
We're at race 18.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
I know this, but I mean that's pretty. Come on now, let's look at the
how
big
many,
picture, Michael Diaz. Let's look at the
Michael?
last.
How many races in a season do you race? Your young pigeons. You race them twice a week. Okay. Do you race against the Champions League? The real ones. You know, Dirk Vandenbalk, Gert Hallen, Marcel Kurlemans, Patrick Books, Hugo Van Linden, all the Lambrechts. Who else do I need to mention? Just in that little zone. Little zone. I mean, these are guys, all they do is live off of pigeons. That's it. You know, Kittle from Dirk Vandenbalk. That's the same guy. You know what? Yes, we screwed up the feeding. We did. The pigeons had the right weight, had the right everything. But when you feed at the wrong time, you screw it up.
He says, "My friend, we live in the USA. Personally, I have 2 8-hour jobs, and I don't have all the time in the world like Belgium guys."
Wait a minute. That's an excuse. I don't need that. We're not bringing your job in, and I got two parents. I got a kid. I got 4 dogs. I got a dirt bike. I got pigeons, and I got some ducks. Not bringing that in. I'm talking actual pigeon racing and who you're playing against. This is it. Who are you? Again, you have to ask. Who are you playing against? I can't say I won any races in Canada. Big deal. Whoopee shit. Who did I beat? I didn't beat anybody. I mean, for all you people that live wherever you live, get on a plane and go and do it. Then you see who you can beat, right? But you can't say it because they're no big names. There's no not the same competition. And that's not your fault. I'm just saying it is what it is. Anyways,
Well,
jobs.
I mean, I understand that people are busy, but does that mean that we cut corners and the pigeons suffer because of it?
I guess so. It's easier. It's easy to do. This here, just dump it in. And by the way, when the birds don't do it, right? You buy birds from Feathers Elite and you feed this shit and it don't work. Call me up and I'll say, hey, can I have the birds? Can I just have them and I'll feed them and train them and they'll be fine for me? Because this don't work. This is a cutting corners. Why are you even buying pigeons? Why train them? Why race them? Why do it? You're racing against yourself. You're racing backwards. You're not giving them anything. I mean, hey, Mr. Diaz, you work 8-hour jobs. You eat good food or do you eat shit to fuel yourself? That's a question.
He says, sorry, Ryan, but long standing races don't need too much road training. Long standing races don't need too much road training. I don't know.
No, I know. You got it, eh? I know. You know, road training doesn't do nothing. Why doesn't everybody just, why does anybody train? Funny, eh? Why? Why do they train? Why are the guys going to the national races playing on the midweek races to get a trainer in? Why? Why are they doing that? Why does Milovic put the birds they race them all the way up through the middle distance races with those long distance birds? Why don't they just leave them at home and rest them like Frank says and then bang them in? Why? Birds need work. Without work, they're flat.
Billy
Hey,
says, sorry.
you know what? I should say this. If people don't do a lot of road training, they never know what we're talking about. It's you get above it, right? Once you see it work, Steven, once you see it work, it's night and day difference. One day off, you see the rust the next day out. Go ahead.
Billy says,
Yeah.
it's also high energy expended to gain very little energy in return on digestion. Yes. Yes, you're getting very little. Yes, you're getting very little in return with the barley. Yes. Michael just swears that barley helps maintain the weight. He swears by it. We're not going to convince him. He loves barley. He thinks it's great. Instead of learning what to feed them and learning how to feed them properly, the quick fix is just give them the barley, and that helps maintain the weight.
I know. I know. It's okay. And we're not here to listen. Actually, you guys pick whatever you want. It's only the pigeons that suffer. And really, at the end of the day, do pigeon men really care? No, the pigeon men don't do the work. They don't put the time in. They don't even feed them right, but they're sure quick to knock their heads off. Can't
Noel,
change these pigeon men.
Noel says basically when the barley is left behind, they've had enough. Joshua Tripoli is giving us the grams and the ounces. So 28.35 grams equals 1 ounce. Sherry says she changes her vote to 2, which is no, that she does not believe it. I'm going to check with our little poll here momentarily. Milton says, Ryan, what's your amount of feed for 10 pigeons?
Just feed by the eye. Nice and easy. So it depends. Every day you're looking at the weather. You look at how much you trained them. You look at what you've done. I don't use a standard measure. I never trained, I never played like that. It's the same thing in sport. If you have a heavy workout, normally a few hours later, you're a little more hungry. Certain things. Same thing. I swear by it. When pigeons come home from a race, you don't have to feed them right away. Give them 2, 3 hours. Let the group come home. Let them have their water, fresh grits, minerals. Okay, maybe a little candy mix on a little bit, maybe. Once all the birds are home, the system calms down, then feed them. They eat much better. Better for the pigeons.
Finley says, but you can maintain that from feeding good feed appropriately and training regularly. Yeah, that's all we're trying to say. That's all we're trying to say.
Yes. Look, there's two different spoons, right? Okay. If you feed them this full of heavy food, okay, whoa, they're going to get fat. So at the beginning of the week, feed them one of these of good food, not one of these. How many slices of cake do you need? A sliver. Oh, it's beautiful. You eat half the cake, you gain weight. A little cake, a forkful of cake is nice too. Come on. You got to learn how to balance the feeding so they don't get overweight on you. You have to learn how to feed them. You have to learn. Hold a piece of corn, you take it from your finger. Good. You're learning. You're bonding.
Joe says, I think this debate comes down to the fancier's lifestyle. Most people would love to have the time to road train every day and let the birds burn off what they eat. Some guys can't do that.
Okay. So my question to you is, now that you know that there's shit in this, right? Nothing in it. And the excuse is you don't have the time to train. You don't have the time to do any of it. So why don't you learn how to feed them good feed so they get more out of it? So they're storing. And then when you go to race them, they should do even better. But again, my thought too on this is, would you send your kid out unprepared to go and do this type of battle? I mean, again, everybody just says it. Hey, oh, it's just 300 miles. Oh, it's just 200 miles. It's no big deal. I let them out. They've loft flown for 2 weeks. Road trained them. Well, I'm busy. I got wife and kids and stuff. I don't really have the time, but whoop, bang, I send them in the basket. Is that proper for the animal? I don't know. It seems like maybe at this part in the life, maybe you shouldn't raise pigeons either. If you can't nutrition them correctly and put the work in a little bit correctly to help them, just a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Kevin Hoffman says, hey guys, Hoffman Racing Loft. One thing I always taught, never starve your birds, but don't overfeed. Yes, don't starve your birds. Robert Daughtry, is this about Barley or bashing Frank? It's about speaking on behalf of the pigeons. That's what it's about.
What did I bash about Frank? I like the 3 bags of feed he uses. We're using basically the same 3 bags in Belgium. A sneaky mix, the fat mix, and the champion black label is equivalent to the revolution. Good. I like that. I think the training's absolutely terrible. I think the barley's absolutely terrible. I don't give a shit if it was Stop Van Reet feeding this way. He wouldn't do it now. I'm not attacking Frank on that. I agree. 3 good feeds. And yes, pigeons go to the races too fat. I agree with that. Learn how to feed the pigeon so it's not fat, but give it the most energy. Or am I attacking them?
Fabian says, I thought road training did more than condition the birds. Doesn't repetition also build confidence and improve their navigation? If they train so little, how doesn't that affect them?
You don't train, you're buried. That's it. You don't train, and it's not what it's very difficult.
Well, he's right. It does.
Yeah,
It's
the
more than
brain
just,
gets flat.
yes, it's more than conditioning them physically. It's also mentally.
Watching pigeons loft fly, they loft fly. Sometimes they look really good. They will. Then there's a lot of the time where they'll be flapping and gliding and playing around, and it makes you feel good. But you take those pigeons, okay, and you train them to 25 or 30 miles, and you watch them, and you catch them coming home, and you see them ripping up and over the wires, and they're doing their thing. And you see it. You ever notice you never see flip at home? And if you see it at home, it's just for a second, not very long. Think about it. When you go training, you train the brain to start, the brain to stop. You train them to have confidence. The repetition is the key. Keep practicing. They will get better and better and better. So when you let them out, they hook and go. They hook and go. No circling. When I see birds circling, I know the guy put no work in. People, first of all, they got respiratory. First problem is no. Here's something. Learn how to raise pigeons without medication too. We had one bad race there. What? When we come 50th, everybody, well, they need medication. Oh, they need medication. No, we had the feeding wrong. Just feeding, 3 good races in a row. No medication. But it's so funny, eh? Everyone goes quickly first to the medication. That's another thing I noticed. But hey, what do I know?
Coming off and says, before basketing the birds for shipping, I always give my birds a little bit of turbo, but not much. Now, when you're saying ship them on an empty stomach, would you change that if we were going longer out in the distance, like middle distance, or would you give them a little bit just before putting them in the
Uh,
basket?
I would make sure if I was going for the national flight, if I was playing in Canada where they would basket on a Friday for a Saturday race, up to 300 miles, they get nothing on the day of basketing. I need to install everything through the week. I need to have them so the system is empty. I need to have them so the crop is there's nothing in that crop when they go. The gizzard will always have a little bit of feed in it, but you almost want them so they're completely empty. That's when they're ready to fire. Okay, we don't want them starving. We want them empty. If you build up all week, you build up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the last feeding. Okay, they built up all with good fats, all with good carbs. The diet you went light to heavy, meaning you fed all good feed, but light. The good feed lighter, and then a little bit heavier, then a little bit heavier, then a little bit heavier, then boom. That means more amount when I mean heavier. Good feed, a light amount of it. The next day, a little heavier, little heavier, little heavier, and then whop, full throttle. They've got all the good. Now, on Friday, they're going to spend all day all going through, everything's done. Now they're going in the evening. I want to eat. Want to eat. I'm hungry. I'm feeling good. They go in the basket. They're ready to roll. So, no, again, depending on the weather and the conditions, what you're going up against, no, you don't have to. You don't have to feed them on the Fridays. Let them do their thing. Build them through the week and then leave them for the day.
Finley says, and he says this well. So he's talking to Joe, who's saying that perhaps guys don't have the time, whatnot. He says, and I agree, and Ryan, I'm sure you will as well. So they should just feed less, but with a good mix. Not
Yes.
starve them to keep the birds in condition, when in reality, it's counterproductive.
Thank you,
No.
Finley. You're making this. You're saying it exactly. And maybe even Frank can learn from this. Just feed them good feed, but feed them a less amount of it.
Peter Raman, you can agree with Robert Daughtry. Y'all can think it's personal against Frank McLaughlin. You guys you can have your own opinion. It is not at all. It's what's best for the pigeons. I don't care who's saying it. It could be you know Jesus Christ
How-
himself. I
So
don't
does
think
that
proper
mean
nutrition.
does that mean all the flyers that we visited that are like national champions, they have something against Frank too? Because they don't the system nobody uses. No big name, no winning name, like real wins does this. I haven't seen one yet. Haven't come out there and say, have I ever said to you, Leah, have I ever said guys on the show, holy shit, man, this guy wins everything and all he's feeding is 75% barley? Never done it.
Brian Mater says, I know someone who won a club race feeding kitten chow. LOL, I'm not joking either.
Can't answer that. Again, where are we flying? What are we doing?
I don't even know what this means, so I'm not even going to read that. Okay. Then Joe comes back and says, Finley, there's truth in what you said. However, I think more people than what we think would overfeed their birds doing it that way. I do believe barley is used as a gauge to know when to stop.
And that's just called being lazy and not learning how to do it. I mean, that's why there's running shoes with laces and there's Velcro shoes.
Noel says most fanciers prefer to feed barley, nothing else all winter. What's your thinking on this method?
I've seen that. What a disaster. I've seen guys do that. There's a big champion up here who did it. Terrible condition. Feather was dry. All the birds were shitting basically liquid, and they were doing it in cold conditions. Torture on the birds. Don't do it. Does the doctor tell you to just eat Cheerios all day, every day? Just keep eating Cheerios. Like, these are whacked out ideas.
We're going to talk about one loft racing from several years ago. I agree with you guys on this. Barley can't be your main base of feed. Birds need more, but what I'm trying to figure out is how come your one loft race didn't do so good? Those numbers should have been better.
Yeah, should have been better. You got me. You nailed me. I went out there and I played one loft pigeons against combine pigeons, my friend. And I take people send me 5 pigeons, and I push them. Push them 8, 9 races before No Africa Pro. Set a schedule and follow it. Headwinds, tailwinds, all the shit. I always finish. Oh, I always finish. And the birds that finished our race went on to breed for people. I always put the work in. But we're not, has nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with that. So we're not even going to get into any more of that. I'm not dealing with that today.
David Trey says, wasn't it the old man Van Laar that liked feeding a lot of corn?
Yeah, corn. 50% corn. Okay. What 50% corn. The rest was a sport mix. Serge Van Alsecker, he likes to feed about 50% corn, and then he uses the heavy sports mix and fat mix. You know, again, we're gonna use Van Laar. The guy got his electronic clock 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a modern day professional pigeon man. Flying very good, but it's different.
DMCC says, I watch Frank and I watch Ryan. I choose Ryan's method because Team Feather's lead is racing. By the way, my birds are doing great by y'all's methods. Well, that is good to hear. Honestly, guys, we're just asking you to please give them proper nutrition and learn how to feed them properly. The training and the rest of the stuff, I mean, that's you guys' opinion, what you guys want to do. But could you just at least give them the proper fuel that they need? I think that's our real problem with this method, is it's not teaching guys how to feed proper. It's restricting the pigeons because you don't know how to feed proper. And that's my problem with it.
Yeah, and again, you're not there with him every day. There can be days where he's maybe changing stuff and adding this and adding that. When you go on here and you tell people 75% barley, it's a dangerous mix. You're playing with you're putting no fat on the pigeons. That's all. Pigeons, it shows. They burn carbs first, then they need fat. This has none of that in it. Give them it. Give them what they need and help them out a little bit. Hey, why don't you try it? Why don't you? Maybe I'm wrong. I should try this barley. Everything points it does not work. There's nothing in it for them. I can't play in Belgium on this and train like this. It won't work. They'll be cooked. They say in Belgium, some of the guys say, you're going to burn your birds out. They look tired yet? They're not tired at all because we give them the right fuel. Work hard, feed them good. But if you're not working hard and you're loft flying and you give them a bit of exercise, keep giving them the good feed, but the good feed it responsibly. Don't feed it like a pig, and you'll keep the weight right. And then you're giving them good nutrition. I think you can probably maybe win on Frank's system, but just learn how to feed the better feed. You probably do a bit better.
Joe says, I have seen improvements with Flying Ryan's methods. However, it looks like many viewers have seen personal improvements trying Frank's methods. If they are having better results than before, why knock it? Because we speak on behalf of the pigeons. That's why I'm knocking it.
Yeah.
Ryan speaks on behalf of the pigeons. And if the pigeons could speak, I think this is what they would say. You call it keeping us lean, we call it training hungry. We're flying for hours, burning carbohydrates and fat, repairing muscle, and preparing to do it all over again. Barley can fill our crops, but it cannot provide everything working athletes need. Please stop confusing an empty, lightweight pigeon with a properly conditioned one. Give us balanced fuel, let us recover properly, and then ask us to race. That's not from me. That's not from Ryan. That's on behalf of the birds. That's why we're knock it. Genetic potential off says corn is a superior carbohydrate. Yes, yes. I got lots of comments here. Brian Meter says, also seen parboiled dry rice soaked in milk, kefir, and fed most to pigeons on race day. I've seen it all: sheep fat, cheese, etc., fed to racing pigeons.
Yeah. Also, guys, I'm going to tell you one thing on my many travels. Leah, you were there. You don't want to use barley? Want to use something else? Chop up carrot. When they don't eat the carrot, they're done eating. Who said that? Gerard Koopman. He doesn't use barley. He used carrot. If they don't eat the carrot, they're not hungry.
Kevin Hoffman says, Hoffman Racing Off. I've been racing now for years. I have never did the barley feeding. I give my birds, when it comes to racing time, Racing Quest. Okay. Lou says, well, I think if you feed in a small amount before basketing, some polished rice and safflower flour would be the safe bet. Joe says, unfortunately, the feed choices in America are very limited compared to Europe. I wish we had more choices. It would make the other companies step up their game and come out with a better product. Do they have the same racing mixes that we have in Belgium, in Australia, or do the guys just kind of make their
The
own
guy,
based off of?
yeah, the guys in Australia. Australia has it real tough. Canada, I mean, you can get some of the buyers mix, which is good. I know in the States you can get Versalaga.
Yeah,
There's some things you can
I
get.
think what I was trying to say is, and what Finley says here is, in Australia, I believe they source the individual grains in bulk and then they copy the ratio of a good European mix. Do they not
Yeah,
do?
the grain. Yeah, you make yourself. And you can go on, like, hey guys, listen, you need fats and carbs. Go on and look on the Van Robies. Look at what's in the grains. Look at the percentages, and take out what you can need, and go and buy the bags. Go buy the Milo, buy the Capricorn, buy the whatever you want to buy. The safflower. Go and buy it and put it together. Make your own mix, but make sure you got fats and you have carbs, and learn how to feed.
Andrew says, Medina, let's see your race results. Ryan posts his all day long. Post them. We got nothing to be ashamed of. If you go on our website, feathersleypigeonauctions.com, you can see all 17 races that we've done so far in Belgium. You can watch our training, which we show on the videos on live. You can watch our shipping night, which is also live. And you can also join us on race day, live from the finish line. And you can see how they trap, the whole 9 yards, the whole race. We hide nothing. We show everything. We're not ashamed of anything. We're very proud of what we have accomplished this season in Belgium. Very proud.
Yeah, I'll,
We've
I'll
made the
tell you.
first page every single week. We've made the first page. Again, guys, we started late, the whole 9 yards. I'm not going to say the story again. I'm sure y'all probably know it. I'm very proud of what we've accomplished, and there's zero shame in Sunday's result. 18th overall. Zero shame in it.
Hey guys, I'll tell you something. Um, we show you the whole thing. You can go and watch Sunday's show where I basically, when the bird lands, I tell you the race is already over. It's done. We were buried. I don't sugarcoat it, cookie cut it, all that shit. I tell you what's shit, and I tell you when they're good.
Wait a minute. Michael says, I mean, no disrespect. It was a question because I saw how well you were doing and it was bad last Sunday. We were 18th
Wasn't.
overall, friend. Wait a minute. Did they trap the best? No, they did not. Were they a little this way, a little that way? Yes. Did we make the prizes? We absolutely did. In the stiffest competition, probably in the world in sprint. And we came 18th.
I'm
18th.
good. Hold on.
How bad could it have possibly been? We were 18th.
We had, out of the Flyers, we had the second most amount of birds in the prizes. Okay. And we show you 18th. We were the 12th loft. Yeah, that wasn't the best. We show you everything. And we show you who we're competing against. And you guys all know these names, or you've seen these names, you've heard of these names. This is the Champions League. This is why we went to that spot. Because if we would have went anywhere else, it doesn't count. Because they say, well, if you're real good, go to Belgium. So if you're real good, go to Spring Hill, Florida. Forget Spring Hill, Florida. Want to go where the champions play? And you know what? I can lose to that. That's okay. And hey, you seen the pigeon come at 9:10. It didn't go in. I had to tell my dad, stop saying this. It didn't go in. You lose. You're a loser. It was a shit performance. Not on the pigeons, on the loft managers. But you know what? So many loft managers don't give themselves scolding when they need to. They blame, who do they blame, Leah? The pigeon. Easy to blame. Blame the pigeon. Blame the pigeon. Yeah.
Show says barley is helpful. If you can't tell when you're overfeeding, I give them about 20% diet mix and 80% of the heavier feed, and it helps me tell what I'm doing. Well, I mean, okay, 20/80.
All
I'm not.
right.
I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at that.
I have another question. Okay, so okay, you're learning how to feed because you just told me you're using now 20%. So what I want you to do next season, I want you to now cut it back from 20% to 10%. Okay? And then the next year, I want you to cut it back to 5%. And then the next year, I want you to cut it back to no barley. And you watch the feeding, slow down and feed them. And you'll see it. You just have to look.
Oh, Nelson says, I believe a lot of training and proper nutrition is the key. When I trained a lot, I was very successful in the past. Michael says, sorry, but I'm not lazy with my birds. I notice they don't starve. I keep them nice, not heavy. Like I said, I'm a busy person and love my birds like I love my kids. I try to road train as much as possible. Oh, and he says he loves us and he doesn't mean any disrespect. No worries. Oh, Alvin's got to go to work at 4 a.m. and work 12 hours a day a week. It's 7 p.m. I'm out training 6 days a week. Most days. Oh, when the season is over, I'll tell you if Ryan's system works. Oh, no pressure. No pressure. You go, Alvin.
You go. And hey, guys, this isn't an attack. Again, it's not an attack. I kind of wish this wasn't Frank. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
which
would
was
have said the exact same thing.
sure.
I
No, but
don't
the
know.
reason why we're even commenting on it is because we've had over the last 3 weeks, the last month, the, people keep asking us about, well, what are your thoughts on feeding half barley or 75% barley? And they've asked us this over and over and over again, and then we're finally figuring it dawned on us why they're asking. It's because that he put out this master feeding 75% barley, 25% good stuff. So we watched it and we thought to ourselves, this is bad advice to be giving people. It's not good. And this is now why we're doing this show about it. Because we just had people ask us over and over and over. So that's why we're commenting on it now in one show. Daryl says, I always feed half ration on the mornings of shipping. I've had great results for years. Lou says, Ryan, that gizzard needs to be working till that gate opens to race.
I know. Feed the pigeons. Feed the pigeons Thursday, full of feed. Okay. Saturday morning, leave one home. Take it, knock its head off. The crop will be empty, and the gizzard will have feed in it.
Michael says he also feeds about 1 ounce per bird, but also depends on how the next race is, temperature, wind, etc. I change the diet. Okay, now I think they're. Oh no, hold on. Oh boy. Okay, let's see here. They were repeating the
Oh
comments.
yeah, I hate when that happens. See, that was the thing I used to have trouble with, and I start getting frustrated.
Mike Green says, I couldn't feed barley all winter. It gets too cold in the winter. Daryl says, I found that barley is best after the return for 2 days or a good depurative. Michael says, I wish you guys stay competing in Belgium. I love the videos. I watch them at work all the time. Love it. Oh, good, good, good.
Hey guys, I will say this. For guys like you know, I was lucky. There's times when I was in Belgium, and I'm using Chris just because I was there. I was at Chris Clarebot's, and his loft manager was mixing feed, and he was using the scale at the beginning of the season, just getting the result. He said, "I don't want to be over. I don't want to be over. I'll be at 30. I'll be at 30." And he was going one soup spoon in the morning, one in the evening. And when you measure it on this, go to grams. These things are great. They're not expensive. And a soup spoonful is around 15, 16, 14, 16 grams. It's a good guide, okay? But when you come to the end of the week, they'll eat more. Give it to them. And I promise you, you guys, feed them a soup spoon of good feed in the morning and a soup spoon in the evening. They're not going to be overweight. But at the end of the week, they'll still rip your shoes off.
So we've heard from Michael, who says that it works great for him. Now, here's the other side of the coin. Brandon Jackson says, just my 2 cents. I did this system to the T in my first year. Average results, and eventually crashed my birds. Changed to a different system this year. Champion loft, champion bird. First to seventh ace pigeon in North Carolina, I believe. I guess do what works for you, but it did not work for me.
Hold on. He said he did it to a T. And Frank, I mean, he's gives it pretty good here. He's got it written down, okay? But he said exactly what I would say would happen. They crashed. There was no reserve. There was no more to give. You burnt them out. And take a look at the product. Does that look appetizing? Does that look like it's got what it needs? It doesn't. And it's not a bad thing. You adjusted the system, but you tried it.
Daryl says, yes, try your own custom mix. Papa
Hey,
agrees. Oh,
another great thing I think is great. And if you can't get the good mixes, you really want to become a good feeder too. Feed individual grains. Do you know how long that takes? Remember, Leah, we used to do it here. Feed them corn, then you feed them safflower, then you feed them hemp seed, then you feed them this, and the pigeons have to eat what you feed them. That's another way. But guys, practice feeding. Practice feeding. I'm telling you, he is right. You got to master the feeding. You have to learn how to feed, and the better you can feed, the better feeds, and not make them go overweight. You're putting more reserve in them. For the mistakes, you get them more firepower. It's a win-win. You're winning.
Mike Green says, you just have to learn how to watch your birds and their feed. Yes. Yes. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, where's that an attack?
Billy says, once you have an old bird team on widowhood, you feed in the boxes, you get to know what their perfect balance is. Harder when a young bird team floor feeding, but it's just getting to know your bird's balance is key. Yes. Barn Dog,
Balance
you
is
use
key.
Audie in the States. Okay, good. Barn Dog says, you guys are doing damn good in Belgium. You guys are transparent. Well, I don't really know what else you want we could show you. Do you guys want to see the family arguments behind the scenes? I mean, we could do that if you want.
Hey, guys, let's be honest. Since Sunday, I haven't talked to Ricky. Because after the race, he said to me, we could have won that. The bird came with Mars. I said, are we doing this again? Flick hung up. I said, when you're ready to go to work, then you tell me. You let me know when you're ready. I don't need nonsense and bullshit. I told you, don't do this, and you did it. We lose.
It's been a rough couple days around the homestead. Let's just say that. Joe says, Ryan, could you do a video specifically how to read the pigeons while you're feeding them? Show us what to look for and when to slow or stop. It would be helpful to some of us. Well, yeah, we could totally do that.
Yeah, yeah. I've been having this discussion with James Wheeler, and it's like I don't know how to say it or show it. It's like, and I don't know if you can get the camera angles right or everything, but If you feed one, I'm going to try and explain this. One or two fistfuls at a time. So you have 20 birds. One fistful, one fistful. You spread it out there on the floor. You see on the graded floor, we have the tray, the big tray. Just stop. Watch. Everybody hit the board. Boom, everyone's eating good. Nobody is playing around. Nobody's looking at their girlfriend. They eating it. Nice tap, 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 tap. Boom, everybody's eating good. They're done. You stop. You say hi to them. Hello. Right? They got to look up at you and they got to say, hey, we're ready, Pops. Let's go again. Okay. One. And you take one fistful and you spread it out again, but only one. And everything gets cleaned out. Those small little poppy seeds, they put on the bagels or whatever those small little black seeds are that's in that mix, everything is cleaned up. I want nothing left. Then we go again. And I watch. That's cleaned up. Then I go again. Then I wait. And I leave them. And they're not going to the drinker because they're not done yet. They're still looking at me. I hold up a piece of corn. They all run to my fingers. They take it. And I go slowly. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see the ladies' man, the blue checker white flight cock. He turns and he looks at his girlfriend. And he says, I'm going to start looking at you. It's the first sign. Starting to be done now. And this is how you have to look at it. You have to look at the group and analyze the group and watch them. And just slowly. But when you start to see them slowly start leaving other seeds by them, I'm telling you, they're coming to the end. But I mean, who has time for that? But I mean, it's no different than feeding your pigeons. It's no different than watching a TV show like Friends for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Same thing. Go ahead. I think you're on mute, Leah.
Oh, yes, I was. Mike Green says you're not going to win every race. You're going against some of the best flyers. 18th is still respectful. Jack Act Fast says big drama in our club this past weekend. A 250-mile race, and the driver missed a crate and did not release one full crate of birds. Oh my!
Yeah, that's a shit job. But I mean, hey, what are you going to do? I guess it happens. You know how many times I think that probably happens. I mean, I think in the little small clubs, I don't know how much it happens in Belgium because they have the transporters, but I'm sure it happens almost everywhere. You know what? Hey, what are you going to
Accidents
do?
happen.
We're human. We're human.
Yeah.
We all make a Ricky.
Graham Morris says 100%. Most flyers need to look in the mirror instead of blaming the pigeons. Hey Jeff, nice to see you on, friend. Mike
Yeah.
Green says I use no barley. I used to about 15 years ago. They have much better. Okay. Have I done all the comments yet? Robert Daughtry says I use Versalaga to Pure. It has 3% barley if the race is over 200 miles. And some Versalaga energy mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Finley says that's a man in the mirror. Everyone avoids self-reflection. It's rare these days. Yes, you are right.
Yeah. And,
Um,
and I find it hard with Ricky because I know he's crucial for trapping. Like he's very quick to tell you. He's kind of like Leah. You remember Gang One?
yep.
All right, rip you. Just he'll rip me. Oh, they trapped like shit today. Blah, blah, blah. I notice he's doing it. I don't know if it's his age or what. But he's trying to find the silver lining in this. And I just because there's pressure, guys. Hey, we want to come out and show you guys. I'm not gonna lie, we want to win every race we enter. I don't care who the people are in the race. We're not there to come second or 18th. We're not. We want to always be first. And then the rest are the bonus prizes. We haven't done what we wanted to do yet. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. And we have to switch halfway through a season. It's the hardest thing. And that's why like the guys say at the club, we're remarkable. They never seen this coming, these guys. And they say that to us. Marcel, Yosser Kamen, the president of the club. Guys are mind blown on the performance.
We didn't get there feeding barley, I'll tell you that much. Delegato says McLaughlin's barley method During racing works for him, but not for Delegato. Like, it might work for Frank, but it doesn't work for Delegato. Michael says, what I mean is last Sunday the birds did not trap well. Yes, we agree. We agree. We agree. Finley says, Michael, they had just left one of the biggest liberations in Europe and looked spooked. Still got 18th in the club in their section. You see how well they trap 99% of the time. Yes. There's definitely something going on Sunday. I'm not making an excuse. I just have eyeballs and I can see. Based off of our last 7-16 performances, there was definitely something going on there.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We should have a good comeback race, and I haven't talked about this to Ricky. Just let it off, let it soak in a little bit, and then we make the adjustments. It wasn't the birds' fault. I think it was us. And I asked him. I never sometimes get a straight answer when he tries to hide something. Did you take people in the loft? That's something that would have never happened if I was there. That's excuses, but these are little stones that you screw yourself on.
Sure.
The feeding before, the taking the people in. There's a few little things, and it only takes few stones that you turn wrong, and Gert Holland turns right. You're out.
100%. It's a very fine line. 100%. Fastlane Loft says, I give a third of soup spoon in the morning and one heaping spoonful in the evening. Mike Green says, we all make mistakes as long as you learn from it. Oh, that's right. That's what this is all about, learning. 100%. Okay. Delegato says, reading the birds and what to look for takes experience to get to know your birds. Yes. Lou says, LOL, I wonder if Frank will watch this video. Well, I don't know. Who knows?
And it doesn't matter if he wins with this and this is what he wants, then that's okay. But I promise you, if he is a competitor as though it sounds like, when he gets up against the guys that feed the right way, he will change. If he doesn't change, there'll be no result.
Michael says, yes, the question, how come you guys don't get good droppers? It helps sometimes, especially in the fast, short races.
Again, we weren't even really supposed to race there this season. You can't just find droppers like that. I like to normally use about 25 droppers. The other problem I have on that property, it's where the fence is to the loft. I don't have I didn't have what we needed. There's a few stones that we didn't have, we're not able to turn. Can't do it just like that. Next year if we play, there's a few things I'm adjusting with the loft. Yes, I have to go out and find the droppers that I want. Okay, that's another thing. It's not easy to find droppers. For some reason, they're mythical there. Am I right, Leah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a long one. Lots
Oh,
of
jeez.
opinions, but not a lot of scientific evidence. Not to mention people reading way too much into the 75% advice. Obviously, what makes up the other 25% matters too. And what about the amount and intensity of training? Doesn't that factor into how many carbs, protein, and fat you should be loading the birds with? That's one of the problems with the pigeon sport. Too many opinions presented as fact. And if real life envy isn't enough, social media adds another level of envy and the know it alls who think their way is the only way. Sometimes you just have to sit back and laugh.
I'm laughing. I think it's a funny one. I guess I don't know what you're. I don't know. You know what? Do whatever. Don't. Yeah. Focus on the 25 other percent. Actually, don't even listen to anything he said. Again, focus on the three bags he talked about. The other stuff, I don't know. Maybe it's just to get views.
I don't know. We're just promoting proper nutrition. That's all we're saying. Teal Family Home says, "This great show tonight, guys. Bravo." Michael Diaz says, "Ricky's a man." Joe says, "I've been watching Fez Leap for many years. I think this is the most comments I've ever seen in an episode. Great show, everyone. It's nice to hear different opinions." Yes, it is. That is right. This was, I guess, a big hit. People like to hear the different thoughts about the Barley and McLaughlin's feeding system. Great. We're here every Monday night, guys, so we talk all great things about pigeons and pigeon racing. Usually we don't have this much back and forth and drama, but we just felt the need to want to present our opinions and some facts and what we do, and you could pick it up or you can put it down. That's it. Before I end this off, we will be live tomorrow around noontime, New York time, for our shipping show for race number 18. Race number 18. For those of you guys who took place in the Chase Ace fundraiser for Marcel, our first race will be Wednesday. That is right, guys. If you head on over to our website, feathersleepigeonauctions.com, scroll down past our pick birds, which, by the way, I believe we have like $390 right now in prizes for Wednesday's race, which is fantastic. Get your pick birds in. But if you scroll on down to the Chase Ace fundraiser, obviously picking your teams has now closed. If you click here for Chase Ace leaderboard, it is going to bring up a brand new spreadsheet that we are going to follow along as we track the points here. By the way, you guys have raised $5,000 for Marcel's new loft build and to rebuild his breeding program. Guys, you are fantastic. Round of applause. But you will now see on the Chase the Ace leaderboard, you will see the team names and you will see the pigeons that go to those teams. Please, guys, check it. If you do have a team entered or multiple teams entered, please check this spreadsheet and make sure that we have the right pigeons that you have chosen for your team associated with your team name. I have them all listed here so you can have a look at them. And if there needs to be a correction, please send me an email, info@fipa.ca, and let me know, please, before Wednesday's race, and we will get it sorted. I'm pretty sure should be correct, but please double check and let me know. I want to thank you guys so much for participating. We have 50 teams going to battle for Chase the Ace. Starts on Wednesday. Fantastic job with that. And that is where you will be able to check your leaderboard at the end of the races to see how many points you've accrued and what the ranking is with the points on the teams. So that's where you're going to go and check it at the end of every race. Obviously, guys, you got to give me a minute to do the recording of the points and whatnot. Hopefully, by the end of that race day, I should have everything updated, but that's where you go to look. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Mike
Yeah.
says you have to find the system that works for you. Yes. Graham Moore says, great show, you guys. And Charlie says, what's the reason you keep skipping my comments? I have not seen your comment, Charlie. I hope you're joking. I've literally just gone through, like, I don't even know how many comments, but I have not skipped anybody's comment unless you guys are talking to each other, then I don't post it up. I have not skipped any comments. So if you want to hang out here for another minute, Charlie, you've got something to say? Go ahead and give her. Anything else you want to add, Ren?
No, nothing else. We're going to keep trying our best here, and hopefully we have a good performance for the first Chase the Ace race. Yeah, you guys really supported it. It was great. Sure, we'd love to see more, but I mean, wow, 50 teams. Round of applause to the people that participated. And for the people that were on the standby and not sure, hopefully the next time we do something, a fun game or fundraiser or something, get involved. It makes it more fun, and it's really going to help Marcel. I don't think he comprehends yet what we're doing. I mean, you guys don't know, but I don't think he gets it. And that's going to mind blow him.
Stephen Collins says your team should get a round of applause for doing the fundraisers. We don't need any applause. We're more than happy to help. He is an awesome human being. He has done so much for us, and we just absolutely hate to see what happened to him. And as soon as it happened, Ryan and I said we got to do something. We got to do something for him because we can't have that. The bad guys don't win.
That's right. Well, you know what? We act quick, and you guys did as well. So you know what? We're not taking the credit. I'm going to thank you guys for supporting it. We put it together, and we'll never fix what was taken, but we're gonna get them feeling positive, and help an old guy out that needs a little help, and you don't want to ask for it. So we're going to read between those lines.
Absolutely. Lou says, you missed one of mine. It was a compliment to you guys. Hey, Lou, we don't need the compliments. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Follow along on the races. Give us a little bit of cheer every once in a while. Cheer us on. That's all we want. And keep racing those pigeons and promoting the sport. That's the compliment to us. That's what we want you to do. Joe says, $5,000. Great job, everyone. Absolutely. Fantastic. Good luck to everybody. Participating in Chase the Ace Wednesday is our first race. Good luck, guys. I think we're going to end it. We've been on for 2.5 hours. This has been a very good show. Very good back and forth
Support.
conversation. Very good.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth, guys. Hey, remember, we all got our ideas. We're going to fight, agree to disagree, might hate each other. At the end of the day, we race pigeons. You guys race pigeons. Frank's racing pigeons. That's the main thing. We just want to help those pigeons out the best way we can. That's all. And if you guys learn something from this, I tried to learn. Hey, one good thing. He's a good flyer. He used 3 of the same bags that we use. And I'm good with that. So, Leah, I think we should wrap this one up.
Hold on.
Um,
Fabian says you should do a night like this on eyesight theory. Hey, if you guys have suggestions on what the next great debate that you guys want to talk about, or if there's a video that you see on YouTube that you'd like us to, or like Ryan to react to or comment on, hey, it gets the conversation going. Let us know. Send me an email, info@fipa.ca. Show went by quickly. We've been on for 2.5 hours, and it just seems like 5 minutes ago, doesn't it, Ryan?
Hey, no hard feeling to guys. Anytime we get together and you want to talk barley, just bring me over a beer. Sorry about that, Frank. No hard feelings. It's just pigeon racing, my friend. And rubbing is racing. Guys, enjoy those pigeons. Remember, give them the fuel, fats, carbs, and watch how much you give. Be gentle. Leah, I think it's time we go, because I'm going to get hungry here.
Okay, guys. You guys have a great Monday evening. We'll see you tomorrow for shipping for our race number 18. Get your picks in. $390 in the pot already. $20 could make you holler if
Yeah.
your pick is the first 2 o'clock in the loft. I'm Leah. That's Ryan. Thanks so much for flying with us. Bye for now.